One.
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Overreaction Monday, March 6th already, 2023. This sports show starts right now. Dead is something that's going to be taking place to a lot of players' contracts this week as the NFL and their teams attempt to get under the salary cap by next week, March 15th to be exact, is the start of the new league year. Tomorrow is the deadline for the franchise tag. All eyes are on Danny Dimes and Lamar Jackson on that front. It was an incredible sports weekend. Jon Bones Jones is back, made quick work to become the heavyweight champion of the world. There was an incredible golf tournament that took place down in Florida for Arnold Palmer. Travis Kelce hosted Saturday Night Live and absolutely crushed it. We saw appearances from his brother and an offensive lineman from the Kansas City Chiefs. I forget it, Creed Humphrey. He was also in there. And most importantly, the Combine took place right here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. And there were some players that made millions and millions of dollars with their performances on the field in Lucas Oil Stadium. We'll be chatting about all that. Plus, we have a stacked lineup of guests. Ian Rapoport will join us in about 17 minutes. He was boots on the ground all week last week at the Combine. What was he hearing? There's a lot of free agents starting to chitter-chatter. Derek Carr just signed with the New Orleans Saints via Diana Rossini.
Yeah, there you go, Derek.
Congratulations to Derek Carr being a New Orleans Saint. Remember, he took a visit down there for a couple days. They couldn't figure out the contract. Then the Raiders let him go before the designated $40 million guarantee. He was having meetings here in Indianapolis with numerous teams. Allegedly was leaning towards the Jets. That was a lie. He is now signed with the Saints. They got their guy. Congratulations, Derek Carr, finding another home with a good team.
Yeah, awesome.
With a good team. So what will the Jets do? What will the Niners do? Allegedly, Brock Purdy's surgery has been scheduled for Wednesday. It is a go. Will they still look into a veteran quarterback? And what's up with Trey Lance? All that with Ian Rapoport and more. AQ Shipley will join us. Obviously, the host of In the Trenches and Bobbled Exchange. What did he see from the offensive linemen at the Combine? And Voorhees, USC guard, tears his ACL during the on-field workouts. AQ Shipley, what are your thoughts on the offensive line on-field workouts? Can't wait to hear that out of him. And then we'll be joined by Dr. David Chow.
Okay.
Let's go.
He's been to over 20 Combines. He'll be able to allude to what explain what Ian Rapoport was alluding to in a pain tolerance test he tweeted about. Then an NFL official told him it's not a pain, excuse me.
No.
We don't run pain tolerance tests. We run standard physical examinations, and this is how this goes. Dr. David Chow would talk to us about that and also probably some Purdy stuff and other injury news. Can't wait to chat with him. I believe this is his first time on the program.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
He's got a big brain, and he's got a lot of experience. He's been to over 20 Combines, worked in the NFL for like 17 years, also worked on the U.S. Olympic Committee and for the WWE. So this dude knows what he's talking about. Can't wait to chat with him. Should be an incredible Monday. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Ty, how you feeling, pal?
I feel great. Whatever bug I may have had has, subsided. No. Great sports weekend. It really was.
Yeah.
The weather was also pretty nice. I would just, had a little pep in my step when I came in today. I just felt good. It felt like, spring is here. Pump the brakes on that. We're probably going to get some more weather, but for the time being, got a lot of great sports. I mean, it really is, for football being over, it's kind of one of the most exciting times of the year. It really is.
This is Massacre Week, so there's a lot of NFL news. Combine Week, there's a lot of NFL news. And when it comes to other sports showing up, UFC showed up.
Yeah,
that was a great card. Great card. I didn't see all the fights. I understand we got a new flyweight women's champion out of Mexico. Congratulations. Unbelievable performance, Grasso.
One mistake.
That's all it takes.
Boom. Yeah.
Especially when you're in that cage.
That's right.
You'll get fucking locked.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, to a T.
That's what Jon Jones did. Jon Jones, too, just, excuse me.
Go sleep.
Good night.
Gotcha.
I'm the champion. Everybody shut the fuck up. All right? He's amazing.
Unbelievable.
I can't wait for this reign as heavyweight champ. I enjoyed hearing Dana White say when you're negotiating and dealing with Jon Jones, it's like you're dealing with an artist. So I don't want to make any promises of what's next or how it's going. Stipe obviously was called out for International Fight Week, which I believe is in July or in June.
Yep.
That's in Vegas. Is that going to take place? He didn't get a lot of damage, but he did go through a full fight camp.
Right.
And everybody just assumes, the fight was pretty easy. The guys were probably fighting like a month or two. It's like he just went through like 3 months of just grueling misery. Not his fault that the fight didn't go that long at all. There's a lot of people thinking that it was actually thrown.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, Cyril getting through that thing. It's like, just wait. I think a lot of these heavyweights are about to experience what the light heavyweight division had to experience for a long time. It's just like, Bones is longer than you. Good
hands. Good hands.
Oh, wow. It's
Important
back.
battle.
Black Ace is
Back.
Uh-huh.
It's just bigger. It's got a lot more surface area. That's why I like it, because you can, I'm a 2 forehand guy.
Right.
So there's probably pickleball people saying, I'll just attack his backhand. Don't worry about it. This thing's quick over here, and it's coming back with some juice. You think this one's pretty good, which it is pretty solid. I get this fucker over here, bang. Been doing it in ping pong a long time, so kind of my go-to. But anyways, Black Ace, you're going to have to chill right over here. Bones is bigger, stronger, faster, and more skilled than you.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm so happy that he's back fighting. That was a blast, the lead up to it all. And then just, he gets kicked in the dick, 5 seconds into that whole thing.
Right away.
And I'm like wondering, he said he felt a little bit uneasy on his feet or whatever to start that thing at the new weight, because he's visibly much bigger than he's ever been. But as soon as he took him down with ease, I was like, he was able to just get him down very easily. It's like, okay, because in UFC, we're not the we don't claim to be experts.
No, not at all.
We don't claim to be experts. Watch the fights. Watch the fights.
Yep.
Don't claim to be an expert. But normally people struggle. There's not normally, but there's times where people struggle to get the person down. It's like, going to be a long day if that's how you're going to shoot, and you're not going to be able to get him down. He wrapped his arms around that guy one time, and it was just like, boom, right through the ground. It's like, Jon Jones is much more powerful than this guy thinks. And I don't think the heavyweight division is going to be a problem for Jon Jones. No. Stipe's last fight was a couple years ago. He got knocked out. Stipe said he's right back in there. Congrats to Stipe.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying Stipe looks scared or whatever. It's like Stipe just saw like $7 million probably. $5 million just run through his, I guess I'll come try to beat his ass. I guess that's what I'll do. I'll fight the greatest fighter of all time in his second fight back as heavyweight champion. Yes, I'll do that. We're pumped Stipe is going to be back in action. That was a great thing. The golf.
Man.
Unreal.
Hey, so Sunday, turn on that golf, because you're just kind of having a Sunday afternoon, you're lounging. The weather's nice, but did you have enough time to prepare any outdoor activities? Probably not. Is there golf courses open anywhere? Not really. Is any pools open? No. But the sun is shining. It's a glorious day. Let's go outside, hang out. Let's go back inside. What are we doing? We're turning on golf. This Arnold Palmer Classic, when they came down, this thing was glorious. And Kurt Kitayama, who I did not know existed, I had no clue that he was even a golfer.
No idea.
Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Beast.
Absolute dog. Look at that leaderboard. Yeah. McElroy, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, obviously Patrick Cantley. Hovland is interesting to watch play golf.
Yeah.
Even more interesting, Hatton is hilarious. Need to watch more. They need to mic him up more. He's pissed about everything. Blah, 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 blah. Just, there's thousands of people standing around him. He does not care. He's having a conversation with himself. And then old Johnny English, was that his name?
Harris.
Yeah, you get it.
Goes by Johnny English.
Okay, so is that real?
No, but that's a good nickname.
No, but
great move.
Nonetheless, Mr. English, it was great golf. Fights were fantastic. The combine was great. To your point, Ty, it was thank you sports for a week.
Thank you sports.
We were worried. Now XFL happened, and obviously we're trying to watch that as much as possible.
Well,
they're going to have to go through the same stuff that most of these spring leagues have to go through, which is quality of play, is what you're going to have to battle and compete against, especially when there's guys that are 6'4", 244 pounds, jumping 40 inches with 4.4s. And then videos are surfacing of them doing through-the-leg dunks when they're there. It's going to be tough to watch the XFL whenever you're seeing guys that are 6'4", 240, run 4.3s and 4.4s, and then turn that on. Now, that's just going to be difficult. This dude, Boston Connor, this dude, one half of the hammer, Dahn, Cowboys tone digs. Just like we said on Friday, this dude stole the weekend. Didn't even run straight. Probably could have been much faster. But his build, the way he threw the ball, I was incredibly impressed by. We all know the physical specimen that he is, and we knew that he was going to be off the charts statistically. That's like the best broad jump that the Combine's ever seen out of quarterback. Best vertical leap that the Combine's ever seen out of quarterback. Best 40 that the Combine's ever seen out of quarterback. And then his deep balls were going 60 yards with a flick of the wrist. I mean, right in the bucket. That's a 60-yard ball right in the bucket.
Yeah.
Shout out to that wide receiver also making a catch. And then people are talking about, well, his intermediate throws are the problem. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I saw a lot of great things out of this man. I think there was 1 or 2 misses that he had, but nobody's judging the wide receivers in this whole thing.
Not at
Everybody's
all.
just assuming it's always the quarterback, always the quarterback, always the quarterback. It's like they have no timing with him. And also, if you're watching that thing as close as we all were, especially if you're on a team that needs a quarterback, there were some drills where these wide receivers were nowhere near running the right routes. Cohen would tell you where we need you to get to. They would cut that thing off 4 to 5 yards short, and then obviously they'd be early to their spot, and then all of a sudden Anthony Richardson doesn't hit him, and they're like, well, they look at him.
Guy can't throw.
He's right behind it. It's like, well, he's throwing to a guy he's never thrown to. And also that guy was literally they drew cones, and he was nowhere near the cone. Wide receivers, Jackson Smith and Jigba is maybe the most natural catcher that we've seen in a long time. He missed all of last year with a hamstring with Ohio State. There's a lot of rumors coming out like he could have played. Could he play? Is he opting to sit out pretty much, but they don't want to word it that way? And Jamar Chase sat out. Others have sat out. I was excited to see him back on a football field. This dude is immaculate at catching footballs.
Oh, yeah.
He's the number 1 wideout on everybody's board for good reason. He didn't run the 40. He did run the 3-cone drill. He did perform in all the practice on-field drills. There was some real spectacle out there. C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba's college quarterback, he put on a spectacle. He's an absolute dog, this guy. He did not run a 40 either, maybe because he didn't want to be running next to Anthony Richardson and ran a 4.4.
Yeah,
that's
smart.
probably the right decision to begin with. C.J. Stroud, though, the way he was pinning balls onto these dudes, he's never, like, they got to catch that.
Yeah.
That counts as a drop, obviously. He was putting balls right on top of dudes, and it's like he drops it in the bucket to places. He said again that his favorite quarter, like that right there, that dude was nowhere near the route. Go back to that, if you could just rewind a little bit, Foxy. Like, this dude probably thinks he's a little bit slower than other wide receivers play. So he goes nowhere near, right? Like Jackson Smith and Jigba goes all the way there. So he's probably getting out there much faster. Now, C.J. Stroud was able to catch up, but there's a couple throws that happened where the quarterback wasn't able to catch up and it was thrown out of bounds or thrown behind or thrown high, and people are blaming the quarterback. It's like, yo, let's look at the guy. Or there's cones.
Yes.
Hey, we can actually see what's going on. All in all, incredible, phenomenal weekend. Another wide receiver to keep your eyes on, Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia, ran a 4.38, and everybody on the internet that fucking talks about running 40s said, this guy's form was terrible. He stood straight up. Probably could have ran a 4.2. Now, I don't love that we got a guy who can run a 4.2 and we didn't win a lot of games last year. Let's throw the ball to him more. But the fucking Combine put on a show this weekend, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, and a lot of times, too, like, if you're just watching, it's like, well, who cares? There's no pads, there's no pass rush. It's not that impressive. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah, who came in here, whose life is the draft, said he's never seen anyone have such a good throwing performance like C.J. Stroud. And then you talked about it. Anthony Richardson, every single thing he did was like, holy shit, this guy's unbelievable. And, maybe it is. Yeah, there's other guys who have done some of the stuff he's done. Not really. No one's ever jumped as high as he has as a quarterback.
Ran,
4.4, yeah. The 3-cone, it really was unbelievable. And then when you look at how the NFL is built now for quarterbacks, it's like this dude can do everything that the game kind of is asking of these guys. Like when you look at the Colts, who are obviously looking at a quarterback, it's like, man, you get a guy who's mobile, who they really haven't had in the last ever, right? They're really the Colts never have. Matt Ryan could move, yeah, that's true, and so could Andrew Luck. But these dudes are just absolute freaks.
Don't put Matt Ryan and Andrew Luck's mobility in the same sentence ever again. Matt Ryan cannot move. Andrew Luck was a dog.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck, very similar to how Josh Allen used to run, to be honest with you. Took way too many shots. Was not as fast, I guess, as Anthony Richardson, but he was a runner. He was an absolute runner, was a mover. He got beat up a lot. Now, that's the difference between some other running quarterbacks. They don't seem to get beat up as much. But Shane Steichen, our new head coach, what he was able to do with Jalen Hurts, it's hard not to watch this video and just think like, yeah, Steichen will. That's Anthony Richardson. That's a quarterback right there. 6'4", 240.
Pretty
casual.
You just think to yourself like, okay, if they're good coaches, which we've been told that they are,
bingo.
With how athletic this guy is, with how his throwing mechanics seem to be, he was able to make throws to people he's never played catch with before in his life. Both deep balls, intermediate balls, short balls, he was able to do it. It's like, could you not turn this guy into what Jalen Hurts was. And remember, Jalen Hurts, first year didn't play that much, Carson Wentz, right? And then he played a little bit. Second year, they were wondering, can this guy make it into the NFL? This past year, they're like, is Jalen Hurts going to be able to be a guy, or is he going to get cut? That's how the Eagles go. Jalen Hurts worked on his deep ball, worked on his throwing, worked on everything. He became a guy. They're in the fucking Super Bowl. So is Anthony Richardson going to be Patrick Mahomes next year automatically? No. But does this guy showcase everything that you could possibly want in a guy that could be running your mobile quarterback offense? Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people on the internet, and I love that these people exist. Because these people have to exist for common sense to reign.
Yeah. Yep. The smart guy.
Oh, he threw it to a guy with nobody covering him. It's like, yo, it's the fucking combine.
Exactly.
What are we even?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the guy that just caught a ball with nobody covering? For the running backs, guess what? Those pads can't actually tackle them. So are you going to talk about, oh, he's able to make a cut whenever there was nobody fearful of getting tackled? It's like, this is what the combine is.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson showed up and did everything that he possibly could. C.J. Stroud showed up, did everything he possibly could. A lot of the wideouts showed up and did everything they possibly could. I think it was all up for everybody that participated in the combine, and there's always going to be detractors. And does this necessarily mean that they're going to be great in the NFL? No. But there was a lot of shit out there that if you're looking at a guy, you're thinking to yourself, boom, that could be my NFL guy. And I love that there was a lot of participation. I love the vibes all weekend. I like that NFL Plus had a bunch of ex-players on the field. That was like the biggest NFL Plus push I've seen ever out of that whole thing. I enjoyed the combine a lot. I think they did it well, and I think trajectory is like this for the old tights Olympics.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. The whole weekend was awesome. Trajectory speaking, Anthony Richardson went from like plus 10,000, number one overall, to plus 500.
Damn. Just 9,500 points.
Yeah, no big deal.
That's all.
Bryce Young's still a favorite. He's like minus 200, and then C.J. Stroud, and then Anthony Richardson. But to your point, like guys like Anthony Richardson, does he have to be the best thrower in the class? No, because if they use him right, and hopefully he goes to somewhere where they do use him right, and they go
Like the Colts.
Yeah, goes to maybe them. I don't know if they use their players right or not.
Oh, Shane
But-
Steichen. We got a whole new building.
True.
Whole new building.
If it goes there,
building.
You don't have to be the best player or the best thrower in your draft class in the NFL if you're facing 8-man boxes all the time and you're facing man coverage all the time, because that's how defenses have to play you. And then, yeah, they talk about the window throws in the NFL and stuff like that, but when you watch like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles play, like they're facing man defense a lot because
A lot of those drags against man,
correct.
those long routes
Yeah.
coming all the way across the field, and you only got one person that can cover them due to the box having to be packed, which is a great point out of Tone. It's tough to keep up with NFL wide receivers. So all of a sudden, the bucket becomes a lot.
Yeah.
Will he miss? Yes. Is Derek Carr an accurate quarterback?
Yeah.
Is that what all these
At
people
times.
on here?
Oh, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
they're
he's
saying.
accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he misses 15 yards
Yeah.
left. That's a pick instead of a
lot.
touchdown. Like,
Yeah.
people are going to miss. This is going to happen. Obviously, there's the Patrick Mahomes who can put it boom. And there's the Aaron Rodgers. What's going to happen with him that now that Derek Carr is signed with the Saints,
Yeah.
that means the New York Jets are wide open, or is it the Green Bay Packers, or is he going to go to the Raiders? There's guys that can put a ball like this. Joey Burrow can put a ball like this. Josh Allen has learned
Exactly.
like over 3-4 years
developed.
how to put a ball like this. But I think a large majority of the guys are throwing that have the the other aspect of the game that the current NFL is kind of looking at and has. It's like their windows are a little bit bigger because the routes are different, the defenses they're playing are a little bit different, and I think all the guys that threw, Bryce Young, 5'10", 204 pounds, heavier, I guess, than he normally would be. But 5'10" was alarming in some people's eyes. I thought that was just understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, known.
I said it last week, like, oh, this guy's 5'10". This guy's 5'10". He's 5'10". I actually asked somebody, you worried, 5'10"? And then I guess when it came out that it was 5'10", people were like, did not expect him to be 5'10". I was like, I thought this was just universally known he was 5'10". He was also standing next to Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, big guy.
Yes.
Hendon Hooker was around, too. I appreciate the fact that he was on the field, even though he was not throwing or participating because he had that ACL surgery. He is projected to be back by the beginning of the season. But all in all, massive, smashing success, I think, out of the Combine. And I appreciate all boys that participated out there for our entertainment purposes. And that's no bull.
That is no bull. And, you just took the words out of my mouth. No bull crushed it. And, it was great to see some of the
How about all the different costumes?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. They had, it's what no bull does. They are no bull. But what you said, having all those, former players out there on the field, someone's got to get to MJD. I love the guy. I really,
All right, let's move along. Let's move along.
I need to
All right,
stay
all right.
alive on this planet.
Let's move along. We all love everybody that was out there. Taylor Lewan looks unbelievable. How about that mullet with those teeth? Did he get his teeth?
He got new teeth, yeah.
Okay, he
actually
looks.
tweeted about it, I think.
His face is chiseled. chiseled. His hair looks amazing. He is stropping, and he has all those cool tats.
Good wardrobe always.
Taylor's crushing right
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
He looks really. He's a free agent. Where will he go? As is Will Compton. We're pulling for both you boys, and also all the free agencies. Quick news here before we get the senior insider for the NFL on. Tony Pollard has officially been franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys. We thought this was going to happen. We knew that Tony Pollard and the Dallas Cowboys had enjoyed each other. There was no way that the Dallas Cowboys, especially with what Mike McCarthy has seen him do, and Mike McCarthy's taking over play calling duties going forward, there was no way he was going to let Tony Pollard out of the building. He was the spark for them whenever they needed. Now, Ezekiel Elliott also in the backfield. What are they going to do for that whole thing with what he's getting paid, what they're not getting paid? $10.09 million is going to Tony Pollard, his first big payday, although I assume he was expecting a lot more. Let's hope that comes next year. Congrats to Tony on getting $10.1 million guaranteed.
Hey, baby Tony.
Guaranteed if he signs it. That means tight end Dalton Schultz will hit free agency after being tagged last year. Okay, so there's a lot of conversations taking place about free agents and franchise tags. Joining us now is the senior insider for the NFL, the network the NFL owns, the website the NFL owns, and the streaming platform that was promoted all weekend, NFL Plus. Host of the Insiders on any podcast network. I'm not saying that stupid fucking thing that they put together.
Yep.
And the host of the weekly wrap of the Rap Sheet and Friends. Us being friends, he being Rap Sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rapoport. Sup, dude? How are you doing, brother? Hey, long trip to Indianapolis. I texted Rich Eisen yesterday. I said, bro, your energy is phenomenal for sleeping in a hotel for 5 to 6 days and also probably participating in some of the activities that's been taking place. You guys crushed it all week. Great work out of you as well, Ian. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just really glad that I survived.
Yeah, how was it? Was this a more booze-heavy trip, a less booze-heavy trip, a lot more networking? How would you judge this versus previous combines that you've been to in the past?
I mean, it felt longer, and maybe it felt longer because there's so many like big looming things that need to be decided. I mean, one of them got decided today, Derek Carr. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But with so many things kind of hanging in the air, one thing I like about Indy is being able to just, maybe have a beer and talk to some sources and meet some people and build some relationships. It was stressful this time because there's so many things that are yet to be decided. So that felt longer, but it was good. It was just, a lot of late nights and a lot of early mornings and a lot of time hanging out in Lucas Oil waiting for people to do some things. So
you did a lot of hosting too, coming out of break, reading an advertisement, burying Aaron Rodgers and throwing to somebody else. I mean, you did that.
I did not think that I buried our friend Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, we'll just keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Jamie, we'll send it to you on the field.
Yep.
That's what you did. It's like, bro, this guy's life is not important to you.
Come on.
We'll keep waiting and waiting and
What I would
don't be a mark. Rap.
It's more like a quarterback who is like trying to find a receiver downfield, wasn't sure what he's looking at, so like backpedals to buy time. I forgot who I was throwing to.
So, I get that.
Okay.
I completely understand. All right, that makes sense.
Then it was like, oh, it's Jamie. Oh, hi, Jamie. All right, good. Bye. Here you go.
Okay, so that makes sense a lot. Yeah, I do that here a lot. Whenever people can tell whenever I'm trying to figure out where the hell I'm fucking headed next, we'll continue to draw out a certain sentence. But anyways, I thought you did a great job. I thought you looked fantastic. Except for that one time, you lacked so much professionalism. Yeah. I think it's Saturday.
Can't do it.
I think, and then your voice kind of cracked too, as if the booze was hitting your vocal cords at that exact point. Have a little professionalism, pal. Not only are you representing the NFL and the network, you're representing us out there too, right? Okay, you're representing us out there, pal.
Look, I think what people need to understand is once the season ends, my compass for what day of the week it is completely disappears. I was pretty sure when I woke up that day it was Sunday, and I almost said it's Sunday.
I was pretty sure.
Except it was not. It was literally Saturday. Also, your dog is very cute.
Oh, thank you. That's Valerie. She's half pit bull, half Shar-Pei. She was a rescue. She is the first dog that I've really had a connection with in my life. Came with the girlfriend, now wife, if that makes sense. Has become a daddy's girl. I love her. Also got a lot of interior designers tweeting me saying, why is your TV crooked? Do you know the build of this room?
What?
Do you know the shape of this room? Do you have any idea of how far the room goes that way? You don't. I mean, that's a terrible placement of the TV. Why is it cockeyed? Why is it so high? It's like, do you have any fucking idea how the house is built? You don't. Shut up. And also, I'm not moving that thing every time I sit down.
No,
If it's
no, no.
utilized as-
She just never want to tweet again.
Well, Twitter's down.
It is a little
What?
crooked. It looks a little crooked.
No, that's just your face, Rap. Okay, that's your face on the TV. If it was a little bit better, maybe I wouldn't be
Don't be a mark,
attacked
Ian.
so much. But yeah, I enjoyed watching the coverage. Let's dive in to some stuff that is taking place around the NFL. Derek Carr to the Saints. I think it was you that reported that he was leaning towards the Jets.
Yep.
Now he signs with the Saints.
That was not me.
Oh,
No
okay.
disrespect to the reporter.
You and the Robo.
Okay. Somebody reported he was leaning towards the Jets.
Yep.
And then here we are on Monday morning. He signs with the Saints. Obviously, we all remember that he took a trip to the Saints while he was still with the Raiders to see if that would be a trade facilitated. The contract allegedly was the problem. Raiders cut him. He then does a meet and greet at a house in Indianapolis for every other team. Saints end up being the home. Why is that? What is that? And how did we get here? And how close was he to anywhere else, Ian?
All right, so a couple things. First of all, the Saints were the leader throughout. Like, they were the only team that tried to trade for him. The Raiders talked to some teams, but they were really the only team that had a real offer on the table, and that is meaningful. Like, he remembered that, he knows that, and I think having Dennis Allen, his first head coach there, certainly makes some sense. To me, this was a no-brainer. The trade didn't happen for a variety of reasons. Contract was one, but even as he met with the Jets, even as he met with the Panthers, it was always going to be the Saints. And I'll tell you what else. I know we're going to get to the Aaron Rodgers thing. I kind of appreciated how the Jets did this, right? Because, like, these are humans. These are their lives. These are important. And the Jets were very transparent with Derek Carr. We like you. We would offer you a really nice deal. We want to see what Aaron Rodgers does first. He's our number one. We love you. You're our number two. But we want to see what Rodgers does. And even though he ended up not with the Jets, I think that sort of like transparency and treating people like humans goes a long way in this business. But anyway, the Saints today, he makes them a lot better. He's a legitimate starting quarterback, and they will make the contract work.
I saw Stephen A. Smith give his reaction upon learning of the news. I do not care. Derek Carr has been in the NFL for 9 years. He has 0 playoff wins. He's been there twice. Lost twice, and I know he couldn't finish one of the games. Derek Carr still viewed as upper echelon quarterback, you believe, in league circles? Because Stephen A. said that. I'm not saying I believe that, but when he said that, that made me think like, oh, I guess that is a pretty valid point. Still view like teams very much were in the Derek Carr sweepstakes and the running and wanted Derek Carr as their guy. And what did the Saints pay him? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, the Saints paid him. It's a 4-year deal. It's going to look odd because it's spread out, like a way that makes their cap work, right? It's going to be substantial. I should get it soon. If I get it when we're off the air, I will come back and talk about it because I know you hate that. But I should be getting
Just happened.
What was that? Commanders.
Carson
Carson Wentz.
Right after
20 seconds after you walked out of the Thunderdome. 20 seconds. You might have done it from our fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think you did.
How about me running into Carson Wentz in Indy, just hanging out with his agents in the middle of the table where every other reporter and agent were, just sitting there having a nice dinner. I like that move.
Well,
just remind people you're there. You know,
it's going to be hard for Carson Wentz to get a corner spot in Indianapolis, I think, with how this whole thing went. But I assume it's difficult for you as well. Congrats to Derek Carr. It'll be like a 6-year deal, 4 years real, or 7-year deal with 3-year voided years.
I think it'll be a 4-year deal, and I would expect substantial guarantees through the first 2 years. Okay. That's what I would expect. We'll see what it ends up being, but it's going to be a lot. But just to answer your question about like how good he is, first of all, he broke his leg 1 year when he was heading with a really good teams into the playoffs. It's not his fault.
I was there.
Second of all, it's really more to me. It's really more like, what is Derek Carr compared to the market? Like, is he the best quarterback you can get? Is he better than Garoppolo? Like, that's an interesting argument. But you could definitely make the argument that he was the best quarterback available. And who else are the Saints going to get?
Okay.
They're picking like 29 or something.
Okay, so let's move along. Let's talk about Jimmy G. He's going to the Raiders or the Dolphins. I've heard the Dolphins now, they're shopping. They're looking for a quarterback. Are they looking for a young quarterback with the whole Tua's not fifth-year option, not picked up? And Josina Anderson's report that her sources are saying they're exploring all options at quarterback. Obviously, we all have massive respect for Josina, but is there a chance Josina's – or not Josina. Is there a chance Garoppolo is back with McDaniels? McDaniel or McDaniels? Is that how this is kind of looking for Jimmy G in the future?
I would be a little surprised, not doubting anyone's information, would not want to make Josina mad. I would be a little surprised if the Dolphins were shopping for a starting quarterback. I would expect them to add to the quarterback room. I would be surprised, based on what I know, if they were looking for anyone besides Tua to be their starter. You know, the fifth-year option is one thing. Daniel Jones got his fifth-year option declined, and the Giants are still working on a long-term deal that would pay him a lot of money, probably something that starts with a 4. So fifth-year option is a business decision, but I expect Tua to be their starter. You know, the Raiders and Garoppolo make some sense. If the Jets don't get Rodgers, that makes some sense too. Panthers also make, like, Garoppolo is in a really good spot. I think he's going to have several offers. The money will be enough to where it's certainly more than respectable, but like he's a good, solid starter. And for the Jets, like if he's just, let's say he's the 16th best quarterback, 16th to 20th in the NFL, to me that makes the Jets a playoff contender based on what they have around them.
Yeah, and they don't have to give anything up, obviously, because Jimmy will be a free agent. Let's talk about the other two teams you chatted about. What is it? What happened?
I have no more coffee.
Oh no!
Oh, jeez.
Rappy want coffee. Rappy need coffee. What's
Don't you have a
Jude
buzzer?
doing over
Don't you
there?
have a buzzer where your family brings coffee
Like
down for
an
you?
electric collar.
You know, the TV world is weird, and I know you know this. When you're at events like the Combine, for instance, and you're chained in, you have to stay in an area, people are constantly like, can I get you something? Can I get you coffee? I know you can't leave here.
That's his networks.
We'll get you something.
Yep.
And then I come home, and I'm like, hey, Leah, can I get coffee? And she'll look at me like I have like
Keurig.
6 toes. She's like, yeah, you know where the kitchen is, buddy.
Yeah.
Keurig is right
Do
there.
you?
You just put the cup in, boom, press the size, make
off
sure you
your
have the
ass and
cup
do
in
it
there.
yourself.
Yeah, you network folks are really spoiled. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's again.
I got a chance to experience that with game day. It's awesome. Hey, is
do
there
you need?
is there a 5-hour energy anywhere?
Yeah. Hold on.
Sprints off
I mean,
the stage.
whatever you need.
Sprints back. Bang. You want cherry, berry,
What?
extra strong. I'm like, oh
What?
my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm so thankful. This is fantastic. I can see how you can fall in the trap to being a diva, which you have done,
Right.
and obviously
Big
going
time.
home. So Jimmy G potentially to Raiders, Jets, Panthers. He has a plethora of options depending upon what Aaron Rodgers does. Is that where everybody's waiting? And you said the Jets told the truth to Derek Carr. Hey, we like you. We'd like you on our team. We don't know if the report of him being a future Hall of Famer is accurate or not whenever he toured the Jets and talked to the Jets. But all eyes are on Aaron Rodgers and what Aaron wants to do, and then the next steps will go. Is that the Raiders as well? Who's all in that game?
Yeah, I have a little bit of. I'm not saying it's not going to happen because if Aaron Rodgers tells the Raiders, "I want to play for the Raiders," that will be a discussion, and any team would have to and should consider that. But it feels to me like they're a little more like they're looking for a long-term option more than a short-term option, right? So to me, it looks more likely the Jets or retire or back to Green Bay. You know, I've sort of said from the beginning, like the longer he waits, the more likely it is it's going to be the Packers. You could do a deal, but these are complicated. It doesn't happen in one day. Sadly, I do not know what he's going to do.
Are you sure you don't just make it up? Don't you normally do that?
Well,
You know what you normally do?
No. I'll wait. Is he scheduled for tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. I have not even asked. I do not know that question. I do not. Would you like him to be? Would you like?
I would
easier.
rather he call me and tell me in person, but that would be this. You'd be the second best option.
Oh, that's well. I have no idea. I've gone very hands off in that whole thing because that is a very important storyline for multiple teams.
Oh, yeah.
At this particular stage. So you think it's Jets, Packers, or retire for Aaron Rodgers at this moment? But if he came back and said, for instance, hey, Miami, I'd like to be your quarterback, they would have to think about that?
I mean, that's a tough one because here's the problem. It's the same problem all the time. He's Aaron Rodgers. And so you can have – it was the same thing with Brady a couple years ago, except Rodgers is younger, right? If Aaron Rodgers tells you he wants you, like, you better consider it because he's Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, that is what everyone's waiting on. And it's, everyone's fine. Like, it's not hard or whatever, but it is holding up some business because you want to know what he's going to do.
Connor has a question for you, Ian.
Yeah, Rapshi, because of how many teams need quarterbacks, did you get a sense after the Combine or during the Combine that more teams are thinking about trading up now that they're kind of established who's going to be the top guys in the draft this year?
Yeah. I mean, the quarterback performances were good. And, of course, I talked to someone who watched every snap of C.J. Stroud during the season. I talked to him this morning about, how great C.J. was during the Combine. And the response I got was like, well, yeah, he was like that during the season. I get it. Combine hits a little different. I think for Anthony Richardson, it hit a little different too. We could see 3 in the top 5. We could see 4 in the top 10. I think the number 1 pick is worth a lot. And Ryan Poles does have a fascinating decision. Does he wait and see if the value increases, or does he do a deal now, meaning in the next week or so, before free agency, get them settled, they know what they have, maybe a player is part of the deal, so maybe they get a player they won't have to chase in free agency. Like, there's, there is a possibility that it happens this week, which I think would spice things up.
What was it? It's a swap this year. Then they won a 24 and a 25 one, and I think is what was floating around the internet of what the Bears are asking for. So that'd be 3 1s, including a swap of this year.
Yeah, so swap 2 1s, and then probably like more. And I'll tell you what else. The Panthers are one of the teams interested, right? But if the Bears have to go all the way to 9, there's a possibility that takes them out of the like really premium players because 9 is far away, right? So maybe it costs a little more to go all the way back to 9 than it would to go to 4 or 7 or maybe 8. I don't know what the Falcons are doing. They're tough to figure out, but like it'll cost more if the Bears go all the way back.
You think us sitting at 4 will be able to sit back and get one of these top 3 quarterbacks, or do you think that first 4 will be 4 quarterbacks?
I think so, but I wouldn't bet my life on it. So
that's what Ballard's saying. That's what Ballard's kind of thinking about right now, right? He came out and said that he doesn't think you have to trade up to 1 to get the guy that you want. But there's a chance that people will trade up to 3, 2, and 1 to get the quarterbacks, right? Isn't that's a real thought?
Yeah, and Ballard is always extremely patient. He hates to be the aggressor, hates to jump in. But, like, this is tough because if you have 3 top quarterbacks and you're at 4, the Cardinals can go, hey, look, we'll take Will Anderson or Jalen Carter or whoever, or you could just trade us. So, like, we may see a 4 to 3 swap just to make sure the Colts get their guy.
Ooh. Because if 7 Raiders, you said, they jump up to 3. Yeah. And then,
that's the issue.
And then Panthers or Falcons jump up to 1. Then all of a sudden you got quarterback, and you're sitting there just waiting, hoping that you're the guy that you liked out of everybody is still there. Has anything changed? Tone Diggs, one half of the Hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys Hammer Down, obviously a gambling podcast that comes out of the Thunderdome every single day right over there. He said that Anthony Richardson's number 1 overall odds went from plus 10,000 to plus 500. Okay, so that goes from an incredible bet where you bet 100, you win 1,000, 10,000, to you bet 100, you win 500. That is the difference in that entire game there. Is that what you're hearing in conversation, or is that still all TBD with the top 3 guys?
Yeah, I'd be really, really surprised if he goes 1. But if you told me, so like coming into the draft, I would say I knew, which is not really no, but you kind of think, all right, well, this is a guy who probably goes in the teens, maybe in the 20s. He's a little bit of a, not a project, but might take a little time. I would not be surprised if he goes in the top 10 now. If you told me he goes to
he's going
Seattle at 5, waits a year behind Geno, I'd be like, you know what? It makes some sense.
Oh. Are you hearing that or punditry? Is this insider information or punditry?
I mean, I know Seattle likes him. I know they like a lot of the guys. I know they were having conversations with all the top quarterbacks, as were the Texans, the Colts, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Falcons, the Panthers. So all those teams had quarterback conversations. I'm just saying, that would be a great spot for him, and he wouldn't have to play right away.
Geno and Seahawks close to a deal, or that's been going on for a while now, right? Because Pro Bowl week, I think they started talking, and they still don't have a deal done. What's the difference there? What's going on there?
Still do not have a deal done. I know they're trying. I know it would make sense to do a deal. I don't. It would be probably a shorter term deal, would be my guess, and that makes sense. But it would, for Geno, if he makes, even if he's on the tag, I think he's going to get tagged. But even if he's on the tag, then
30?
It's double what he's made in his entire career.
Was that 30?
32.
Got it.
So either way, he's going to be in good shape. You just like that long-term, security of a 3-year deal with some guarantees into year 2. And, it's a good situation for a rookie, too, because Geno's a really good human, so, he will help. But he's earned his payday, too,
Yeah, I think we're all happy for Geno getting paid. I just thought a deal was going to get done very easily with the way it was being talked at the beginning of that whole thing. We talk about quarterback getting franchise tag, $32 million non-exclusive franchise tag. 41, I think, is the exclusive franchise tag or something like that.
Should be a little more, right? Should be 44, 45.
Okay.
I have to look it
You
up.
tell me.
I think it's a little more, yeah.
Say that's a $13 million difference in 1 year. That is huge. Obviously, you take taxes into that. That's a $6.5 million difference in 1 year. That's a big deal. Lamar Jackson's getting tagged by tomorrow. The GM and ownership are down in Miami negotiating with Lamar. We're not able to gain any ground after a year of negotiating. That's being reported by your compadre, Tom Pelissero. GM Eric DaCosta met recently in Jackson's hometown of Miami in hopes of working towards a deal. But after more than a year of negotiations, the sides remain apart, and the situation appears headed towards a franchise tag on Tuesday. Great reporting, Tom Pelissero.
Go, Arrow.
Now, follow up on that. They've negotiated for a deal and can't get it for a year and haven't been able to get a deal done. Is it just guaranteed money? Lamar Jackson expects the guaranteed money because that's what the comps are. This is what Deshaun got. I've done a lot more. I expect that. Is there a thought that Lamar maybe doesn't want to be in Baltimore? Or Baltimore doesn't want to get a deal done. They're just kind of making it appear as if they want to get a deal done for their fans who love Lamar Jackson. And will it be a non-exclusive or an exclusive franchise tag placed on Lamar tomorrow? Kind of just let you take that all in however you may.
Okay, so they did go down to visit Lamar face-to-face. And remember, he doesn't have an agent, so this is, Eric DaCosta face-to-face with Lamar. And, presumably his mother also involved. I know she's been involved in a lot of other facets of his life, including giving birth to him. The guy was literally born. I do not feel from the people I've spoken with that Lamar Jackson has really been engaged and going back and forth with them. It feels to me like the Ravens present an offer, he thinks about it, and then everyone kind of waits. So I think that's why, as opposed to, let's say, like Daniel Jones and the Giants, they have talked extensively for the last week. They don't have a deal yet, but there is a little bit of optimism there because they've kept talking. It's like the opposite with Lamar and the Ravens. Ooh. The Ravens talk, Lamar has not really engaged, so I don't think a deal is getting done. As far as the type of, and by the way, I believe they do want him there. This is not just for their fans. He is their guy. They just would like, I think they would like to be done and all this to be over. I don't know for sure which tag. I could make an argument either way. Even if
do they know? You think?
Interesting.
I had a Ravens person this morning say they're not going to make a firm decision until tomorrow. My guess is they have a sense of where they're going, but it's not going to be public until tomorrow. And because he has no agent, that's probably the way it'll stay. But either way,
what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Agency.
Well, because usually
with them franchise tagging Lamar, because you don't need
usually,
to just.
I'm saying usually the agents will get it out there if something happens, but because there's no one talking.
Got it.
It'll probably come out tomorrow.
We would like to let Lamar know if you want anything said, we'll say it.
Yes.
Real loud,
Right
real
away.
proud. Hell yeah. Anyway,
Think he's watching? He might be watching.
I doubt it, but if
Lamar.
anybody knows him, please get
Let him
this.
know.
Let
pass
him
it
know.
along.
We will.
I will say this. The Thunderdome is a lovely place.
Thank you.
He should visit.
He should.
Not a
Great
bad idea.
idea.
Him and Steichen would be fantastic. But is that what teams are thinking? You think there's teams out there that are thinking if the non-exclusive tag is placed, they will certainly give up 2 first-rounders to Baltimore and pay Lamar Jackson whatever he's thinking? Is that happening right now or no? Like the Carolina Panthers, for instance. They have the second richest owner in sports. They obviously have a good one this year. I assume they have one next year.
I Yeah.
I don't know. And the
Should.
next year, like, would that be a place that would potentially pay him? Like, where would be a spot if he was put in the non-exclusive tag that would give the Baltimore Ravens 2 first-rounders and be able to pay Lamar, you think?
So the non-exclusive tag would get the Ravens 2 first-rounders for Lamar Jackson. I would counter with, is that enough? Like, if they get the exclusive tag and he signs it, they can trade him and ask for more. So, like, Russell Wilson went for 2 1s and more, right?
So it sounds like they're going to put the
remember.
exclusive tag on him. Thank you. We just got through the bullshit. I can make an argument for both. Got it. They're putting the exclusive tag on
I
him.
don't know. But I'm just saying, for me, if I'm the Ravens, don't I say, isn't he worth more than 2 first-round picks? He's worth a lot. And then it's like, who's the team? It would take someone unbelievably committed to Lamar Jackson. And I've looked, and I've not found that team just yet.
What?
Atlanta.
I've checked Atlanta. I would never rule out anything ever. I just don't get the sense anything is imminent there.
Okay, so maybe that's why they might do the non-exclusive, because they don't think that any. But if just 2, you save yourself with $13 million. That's why you're saying both. Maybe. Okay, got it. I'm happy we worked through that.
Sorry.
I'm happy we worked through that. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Rap Sheet, news came out today that the Titans are shopping Derrick Henry. Do you think that's actually plausible? Because it looks like they are kind of just tearing everything down and rebuilding. And do you expect like several kind of marquee names to be either traded or released in the coming days here?
Yeah, we will definitely get some releases. And what happens this time of year is you get really good older veterans like Kendricks. Eric Kendricks was a good one today from Pelissero. Do a big salary, coming up in age, has been an awesome player. With that one, I don't know that they offered him a pay cut. But I think what happens a lot of times is if you really respect a guy, you don't offer him a pay cut. You say, like, we're just going to release you early, go sign with someone, But I think we'll get a lot of that in the coming days. The Derrick Henry thing, I have not specifically corroborated that they're shopping him. It would make sense considering he's in the last year of his deal. I assume he would want a new deal. I assume he would want guaranteed money. And he's an older running back, so I don't know where the Titans stand on that. Having conversations would make sense. Would someone trade a real draft pick and give Derrick Henry a contract extension? That's an argument over value that is an interesting one.
What is it, 16.1 million?
Cap it. 10 dead.
10 dead, 16.1 million cap hit. Come on up to Indianapolis, Derek.
Ooh.
You know what to
in the
do.
division?
You already got a guy, though.
Nope.
You got a guy.
Not enough. Not when you're running
I
side.
agree.
What's
but-
better than one
Not when
guy?
you're running sidecards with Anthony Richardson as your quarterback.
Boom.
Boom. Boom.
AR
boom.
in the middle.
What?
Bang. Derrick Henry on one side.
What?
Jonathan Taylor on the other.
Boom.
Then you got Jelani Woods, 6'7", tight end, kind of
Boom.
leaking out of the box for a little. All AR's got to hit is just a middle seam.
Yep.
And then a
Simple.
deep ball
So
to Pittman.
is
That's
that
all
your
we-
guy? Is Richardson your guy?
I don't know if we're trading up. I don't know if we're going to trade up. Like, that's an interesting, like, unless Jim Irsay, who posted a 420 standard
If
def
that.
video
That's right.
from his plane this morning. He during the combine week in the city in which he owns the team, he had a concert in Las Vegas.
Yep.
So I don't know how dialed in to the whole process Irsay is, or if he's hands off on letting Chris Ballard do his thing. But like Jim Irsay might want to trade up to make a play, but I don't know if Chris Ballard necessarily that's in his MO to give away 2
Right.
1s
Yeah.
in the future.
It doesn't. Not again. Never rule anything out, but it does not feel like a Chris Ballard move.
And the way C.J. Stroud was spinning it this weekend, and if he throws like that, if that's how he throws every single game, and then you watch the Georgia game, and we got to see it up close, it's like, that's a Sunday guy.
Gotta go to 1 or 2 to get him probably.
And people are talking about Bryce Young, like he's just the most talented guy, even though he's 5'10". He's an unbelievable talent. And if you have belief you can protect him, he'll be a guy. So like in my world, the reason why I think I'm all in on Anthony Richardson is because it feels like at 4, he might still be around. Like that is how I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, and
if he is,
if you want,
we are.
Look at what Shane Steichen did, and I got to run because I got to do some TV, and I'm not even dressed yet. But
shit.
I'm dressed, but I'm not dressed.
No pants.
If you want someone to coach Anthony Richardson, having the guy who helped turn Jalen Hurts into an MVP candidate would probably be pretty good.
You're right. You're our MVP candidate. Good luck out there. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rapoport. Yeah, the Titans are kind of in a rebuild mode, and we got to remember that when a new general manager comes in, they look at all the books, all the payments, all the players, and they decide whether or not the previous GM made good decisions or if it's how they would like their legacy to be remembered. We can act like egos go into everything. Don't want to automatically say that that's what's going on with Ran Carthon.
Nailed it.
Ran Carthon, formerly of the San Francisco 49ers. But you got to remember, when you get a general manager role or a job, especially for the first time, you've always had visions of how you would build the team. I like this position to have depth. I like this one to maybe have a carousel of guys at the running back position. I don't want to spend 8% of the salary cap on a running back. I don't want to do that. So you see a lot of turnover normally when a brand new GM from outside comes in. There's also I didn't sign that guy, so that person's getting credit to the previous GM if they do well, that humans and egos could potentially have, which we all have experienced in our lives and we've all seen take place. When there's a new position of power, that person usually would like to build it in their way so they can get all of the credit. Not saying that's what's happening with Rand. There's a multitude of things we just laid out there. Derrick Henry being shopped. Taylor Lewan was cut. Randy Bullock, the kicker's allegedly on the market. Bud Dupree is going to be gone. Robert Woods is going to be gone.
Yep.
And Tannehill, Rand Carthon was asked about him at the combine. He said, I know the quarterback position is an important one. I just need you to know he's currently under contract with the Tennessee Titans. It's like, well, sounds like he's not going to be under contract with the Tennessee Titans for that long. And that does not mean that Malik Willis is going to be the guy either, because once again, Rand did not bring in Malik Willis, even though he is certainly cheaper. Go ahead,
When that
Tom.
graphic got brought up, there's a lot of Titans on there. There's also a lot of Rams on that.
The Rams are seemingly rebuilding. Allen Robinson is allowed to get traded or seek trade options. Bobby Wagner was cut a couple of days ago. That became obviously a big storyline. Jalen Ramsey is allegedly on the market. Come on to Indy, Jalen. Do whatever you got to do. Leonard Floyd on his way. The Rams rebuilding completely. Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Sean McVay,
Cooper Kupp.
all still around, though.
Yep.
So they have their big pillars, their big money people, and then now without a lot of picks, they're going to try to rebuild this whole thing. Excited to see the picks they get in return for whoever they trade and what they decide to do with that. But there's a couple teams that are in rebuild, reload mode, and obviously the Rams and Titans are two of them.
It'd be funny if they came out with a new shirt. It was just like, fuck them picks for a couple years. And then we'll trade some guys and get some picks back.
Fuck those big contracts.
We need those picks.
Fuck those big contracts. What are you going to say?
Jordo Schultz was reporting it, so take it with a grain of salt. But
Whoa,
I also did see
Have to.
that the Rams are very interested in bringing Baker back. So I also wonder if they're not completely sold on, like, they don't want to do Stafford wrong in any. But we've talked about his injury like time and time again. Like, is he going to be able to play all next year, or are they in their mind's eye thinking like, hey, Baker? You know, guys liked him, coaches liked him. He performed pretty well while he was here. Like, why should we bring him back? And is there a chance that he's going to be our starter for a good chunk of next season?
To this, you brought up Stafford, so it made me think, and we were talking about Derek Carr earlier and what Stephen A. Smith said about him and stuff like that.
Whoa, Stafford won a Super Bowl.
He did.
Yeah, after he left Detroit.
True.
Like, is Derek Carr similar, or is he not?
I don't know. Arm talent, I don't think we viewed Derek Carr the same way that we viewed Matthew Stafford. Now, I have not watched every single Raiders game like I watched every Lions game, though, with Matthew Stafford playing because Foxy's there. So I don't know if I have just missed it or not seen it, but like Stafford's arm talent, it was always like,
Number one in the world.
there's a guy.
Here's a question. Are players saying that Derek Carr is like an absolute dog? Because everyone said that about Stafford, even though he hadn't won any playoffs games.
Yeah, so you kind of have your anti-Stafford agenda. You?
Me?
Yeah, always have, because Big Ben Roethlisberger gets viewed as a worse quarterback than Matthew
I don't
Stafford.
think that's true.
Well, in some people's eyes.
Oh, yeah. Public opinion.
In some people's eyes, they view that.
Sure.
Exactly. So that proves my point.
I mean, if he was in Detroit, they'd probably had fucking at least a Super Bowl.
No.
Who, Big Ben?
Yeah.
Well, Big Ben was in Detroit, won a Super Bowl.
That's right.
Boom,
Good
boom,
point.
boom.
By the way,
Well, and Carr at the Saints, they're
happy
all
birthday,
that's-
Ben.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Ben.
Ben.
Happy birthday, Ben.
A couple days ago.
By the way, Ben has not been brought up on the show in some time. Hey, thank you for all the love, dude. obviously we're from Pittsburgh, so we witnessed you from straight out of college at Ohio all the way through your entire run. Had some hiccups, of course, but you were becoming an adult in front of the entire world. We appreciate the hell out of you, and we love football. Love football.
Great show.
Thanks for the love. It's an incredible podcast. Hopefully I'll get a chance to chat and have a beer with you someday. What are you going to say, Connor?
I was going to say, well, now the Saints, like Derek Carr's the best quarterback in that division.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yes.
maybe it could be similar to Stafford. They might go on a run and be awesome, but
Not Ritter.
Ritter. I mean, the Falcons are looking at a
guess he's
quarterback.
out, yeah.
So, yeah,
Atlanta's
you can
looking at another
take
quarterback.
that how you want to. Would you trade as the Colts just next year's first up to 3 to make sure that you're getting one of those top 3 guys, just to go up one spot?
You can always get a first back.
True.
Exactly.
I feel like you can always get a
Got a
pick.
left guard you could trade.
That's a
Yeah, could probably even get a top 10 pick.
that's a whole nother conversation about who we have to go with a rookie quarterback.
Have to.
Because we don't have money.
Yeah, and if you stay at 4, you might not get those top 3 guys.
Because the people we paid
Yes.
all got paid a lot of money, and then we're picking number 4 still.
Yeah,
Yep.
paid the wrong guy.
So
4's a tough space to be, huh?
Yeah, and this year's
with
draft.
3 guys, yeah.
3 would have been awesome.
Like Stetson Bennett, he might be a guy.
Yeah.
He literally might. Will Levis might be a guy. Duggan ran a 4.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Scooting. Hey, that might be the new Red Rocket, the way this guy ran his fucking 40. Look, that's Max Duggan, the dog right there.
Big son of a bitch, too.
Straight out of fucking Cole. Was it Cole in Iowa?
Council Bluffs.
Yeah, what was it? Cole Town? Train Town.
Yeah, not Train Town. It's right on the
Trains.
border of Iowa and Nebraska. It's a rough area.
And he's running 4.52. Was throwing the ball a little bit, obviously, but it feels like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson are the consensus top 3.
Bonafide.
Here we go. So sitting at 4 is certainly an interesting place to be whenever you need a rookie quarterback, and you got an owner that's doing a concert in Vegas, raising money, shout out, and a GM that does not like to trade.
No.
I'm very fascinated how it all unfolds.
Especially with kind of the question marks around Jalen Carter now, because I think before all this stuff happened going into the combine, it was kind of known like, hey, yeah, the quarterbacks are great, but like this guy is number 1 on everyone's board. He's the best player in this draft. So, if teams needed a quarterback, like this guy is still going to go in the top 3 or the top 5 or whatever. And now all this stuff happened. So teams, like, is he going to slip down a little bit more? Teams more inclined to move up and draft a quarterback.
Have we ever had that guy just get arrested during the combine in another state?
I don't think so. I can't remember anything like that.
They never got arrested, but last year, was it the draft night or was it the combine night when Quay Walker and was it DeAndre Wyatt were in that car wreck?
They still both went first round.
Yeah,
did.
I wasn't sure when it was, but they also weren't arrested. It was just
Combine time, it might be early enough, too, for everybody to forget.
Yeah.
True.
it might be
It
done
might
by
get figured
then.
out.
Although this one's pretty serious.
Very serious.
Yeah, so it's like,
Sad.
Yeah,
very sad.
And I think that weighs, like the weight of it all is very, very heavy, that he's even being brought into that situation. And there'll be teams that say, oh, we don't.
Right.
Yeah, still need him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good player.
Got a hole on our D line.
People forget whenever he makes 4 or 5 sacks. We'll just
Exactly.
Well, and
continue
that's
to
what,
move
like,
on.
on the back of that, now people are saying that, they look deeper and, oh, yeah, he got arrested, going 90 and, like, a 45 or one. So it's like, well, is this a pattern? Like, is this something that we're really going to have to,
Poor decision maker.
Yeah, exactly.
All
All
that,
that
type
kind
of
of
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, it comes into question. But the NFL is a be who you can afford to be type
For
operation.
sure.
We don't like it. We're just telling you the reality of the business that we chat about.
To
We're
Ty's point, he could have and still could have went to the Bears or the Cardinals, but like if Will Anderson, he's not a 4-3 outside guy, but he could be with the Cardinals. Pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
If they want to stay at 3 and go Will Anderson.
But Will Anderson being there with Jalen Carter makes somebody feel more apt to have to take them earlier.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that's kind of like, can we spend a 4 on this guy?
Exactly.
A 3 on this guy? That would be, if we, number 3 overall, this guy just, that would be, that's a real, I don't know. It's a conundrum. I'll be excited. This draft process, this draft cycle will be a blast to follow along with. We got to get to a break. Watch Chris Rock's thing.
Oh, yeah,
I
live.
dozed in and out of it.
How was it?
I dozed in and out.
Okay.
I wasn't always a big Chris Rock guy, so I don't know like his style.
No sex in the champagne room.
Yeah,
That came out like a long
time
long
ago.
time ago.
Madagascar.
yeah, Chappelle. I think at that age, when that potentially came out, like Chappelle is the greatest of all time. So like, I think he kind of took a lot of the energy from I'll say me. You know what I mean? And like the Chappelle Show was the thing. So I'm not sure that I was really like Ron White, Chappelle. I forget who else.
Cat
Williams. Yeah, like those. Dane Cook at that time. Like those were the comedians I think that I was mostly focused on. Yeah. So I didn't really know Chris Rock stuff. His tone is an interesting one. It's an interesting. He's real aggressive up there. Like he will speak like pretty aggressively and go. He covered every single subject. It felt like he was attempting to go after everything that is cancelable. So you got to respect that type of gumption to go on a stage and do it. The Will Smith stuff at the end was obviously the home run hitter.
Right.
Bubbled a word, bounced back, I thought. A lot of people said, you know, you're both a bunch of bitches. What are we even talking about? But I think it was nice to kind of get his version of the whole thing. The way it was being talked about, though, was as if he was a journalist standing on a stage, as opposed to a comedian telling jokes, trying to make people laugh. That was my biggest issue. It was like, oh, there's an entire generation of people that think of comedians as journalists because, like, Jon Stewart is a comedian who's also a journalist. And Chappelle covers very serious topics in a comedic fashion. And Bill Burr covers got to remember jokes. Like, these are all supposed to be
make you laugh.
ha stuff, not like Barbara Walters reporting something. Right. So, like, I think that is we're in a fascinating time, I think, with comedy in the audiences. Personally, that's what I think.
I was just trying to think of who else. The original Kings of Comedy were around that time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Bernie and Cedric.
How about
Harry Spears?
How about Steve, though? Harvey just becoming like...
There's a milk and cookies joke in there that... all time.
I mean, if we're just going to talk about, like, all-time jokes, I
was just saying.
There's all-time jokes.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Fucking give it a chance.
Chris Rock, though, he took a shot at everything. He took a shot at everything. I dozed once. I fell asleep. And will I go back and watch it all? Probably not.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of flack on Twitter.
Big time.
But I think there's also a lot of people that, like...
would have rathered...
No, like, it's comedy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw, yeah.
Like, it's comedy. Like, these people are trying to fucking... Like, Chris Rock is trying to make people laugh.
Right.
In the theater. He's trying to make people laugh.
The half I saw was a lot of that stuff, and it seemed like the other half was like, this just isn't that funny.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you don't think something's funny, fine.
Right.
But to just, like... And I guess that's kind of the state of comedy right now.
True.
But to just get grossly offended and, like, it's like...
Can't have it.
He's attempting to make people laugh. If you don't think he's funny, that's completely okay.
Tune out.
But, like, let's not just let our life revolve around getting pissed off at a clown doing stuff trying to make people laugh, which is the world that we're in. I think Netflix should have gave the first live thing to, like, you know, killers, like cerebral killers.
Yeah, it's Dave.
Like Chappelle, Bill Burr, they're under the Netflix umbrella. Like, why not just let these cerebral just go out there and do their thing? You know what I mean?
I thought Chappelle is because his contract was up. Wasn't that last special?
Could certainly renegotiate
Yeah.
one. That is how business works. But, like, I would have loved to seen the instant reaction to a non-edited stand-up, which is what live, that's the difference between live and obviously what everybody sees is there's a lot of takes. We'll get this one's the best setup, this one's the best punch, this one's the most clean, this one's the best landed with this audience. Like, there is something to editing a piece of content as opposed to just live, which we are every day.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen, because I've never seen Chappelle live. I would like to see how, you know what I mean?
Yeah, how the sausage gets made.
I would have liked to seen that. I wish they would have been able to do that, but obviously who knows if they didn't want to pay him enough, which doesn't make any sense because I think they paid him a shit ton of money. And the Netflix CEO has been very, we are going to stick.
We're in his corner.
Yeah, we are going to stick
Those
with
people,
That's a good point, though. I had never thought about that, about like Jon Stewart and John Oliver and like how like a lot comedy now, and even with like the late night hosts and stuff, like it has become like blurred the lines between like, oh, this is so politically charged, and like, where is the comedy? Like I had never thought of it like that, but that is a good point.
It's
like,
a real thing.
There's so much of that shit now where it really is like, yeah, there are jokes involved for sure, but like the jokes are kind of the back burner.
Yeah, narratives, everything like that.
Yeah.
And pick that clip from Jon Stewart this weekend.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Good clip.
That was pretty good.
So, So drag shows are not an infringement of freedom of speech on the entertainer or whatever. Well, we have a duty to protect the children. What? What was that?
Yeah.
What was that? Jon Stewart, dog.
Yeah, he is.
He's not afraid of it.
When he left The Daily Show, America got worse.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, and I know the problem is, I think it's his new show, or
Yeah,
the
on
problem
Apple.
with and everything like that. A lot of people aren't going all the way
Yeah.
No.
in there to get.
not free.
That was a great
Oh, yeah.
great piece.
Oh, yeah.
That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
No, it's not an opinion. not an opinion.
No, I'm not
This is
just
a fact.
saying it. Dude, it was good.
Yeah.
I thought about that guy just getting into a full pretzel.
Oh, man.
Jon Stewart had to feel so good too.
Got him,
Set
got
the
him,
trap.
got
Set the trap for him.
Yeah.
He jumped right. Couldn't wait to get the cheese. Let me jump all the way into that thing. And as soon as he's in there, Jon Stewart, you see his entire. Sir, you are in the Thunderdome.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You are here. It's wild, but that's the only reason why I thought of that though is because Twitter was acting as if Chris Rock was a journalist. As opposed to a comedian, and not all of Twitter. Obviously, there's people going to bat for Chris Rock, but a lot of people.
Large portion.
And I don't pay attention, I guess, to the comedy world enough. I started doing some research. I guess that's just how it is now.
Yeah.
Like people get very offended by jokes because there's no separation of comedy
It's tough.
and hate.
Right.
You know, everybody assumes if you're making jokes about something, you must hate that person, so I must be offended. And the person telling the joke, I would assume, is like, yeah, maybe I do hate that person, but also just trying to make people laugh here.
Yep.
So I'm trying. It's a wild world they live in. Happy I'm not in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of portions of the world that are pretty wild right now, especially over the past 3 years. One specific portion. Some people showing up dead in their apartment who might have
Guys
something
can't help
to do.
himself, can he?
Yeah, I have to. When we're talking about parts of the internet, this is a massive part of the internet this
Jay
weekend.
Stewart had a take
Okay.
on that too. That was pretty good.
Jeez.
Yeah, the COVID thing's interesting, isn't it?
A huge conversation right now going on.
And just because we even said that right now, Google and YouTube's probably going to put across the bottom, COVID fact check still
misinformation.
TBD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what I have to do anytime something like that makes it into my Twitter feed, because there's For You
Yep.
and Following now.
That's right.
So things are popping up in my For You that I guess like people that I follow are interested in.
Looking at.
I was because that's what like Instagram is, right? The Explore page is people that you follow,
Exactly.
what they're interested in. Like, hey, this could be For You or whatever. Like that's kind of, I think that's how the Instagram thing works. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, based on what you're looking at too, because like they time how long when you're scrolling if you stop on something.
There's a bunch of math involved.
Exactly. Yeah. It's,
And the people that work at the place don't even know.
no, they have no idea.
The algorithm has a mind of its own.
But the For You section, things have been making their way in there. COVID made a couple appearances this weekend.
yeah.
And I'm like, all right, they're putting it in the For You. So that would mean that it would have to be accurate, right? Because if it wasn't accurate and they're flooding people's timelines, because I don't follow these people, and it's like, hey, here's something for you, and it's not accurate, then Twitter is 100%
Spreading.
the reason
Yes.
why it's happening. So I was intrigued by that whole thing as well, how it's kind of unfolding. And Twitter is back up and operating, by
Yeah,
the way. Congrats to Twitter.
Twitter.
Making it through.
It's either that or it's like, why I'm seeing every single piece of Ron DeSantis content because Tony just likes every single video then. And it's like,
And
well,
he's
okay,
screaming into your phone.
Yeah, exactly. That's
True.
right.
It's probably picking it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if Gumpy's sending you any text, then that's another
Well,
thing.
yeah.
Well, this guy talks to this guy. He definitely wants to know about all the COVID lies that were spread.
Keep hearing DeSantis through his phone.
It's a big deal.
It's crazy,
If
too.
we just go back to think about what all of us had to go through, what the world went through, the cities went through. Cities lost everything because of the way everything was handled. And now what's allegedly coming out, and we have to say that, it's like, yo, there's some real fucked up shit that happened, allegedly.
Yeah.
And none of us could have expected that.
No, not at all.
Nobody could have expected this at all.
Think about the people who are just like, you know what, I'm just going to wait and see. I don't want to just dive in and, get the vaccine. Oh, okay, well, you're fired then. And people lost their jobs. They were uprooted from their communities.
Taking their jobs. And then there's like kids,
Yeah.
2 years not in school with humans,
Which will fuck
learning
them
anything.
up for 15 years. Like,
yeah,
just
seriously.
permanently stunting their development.
Like drastic things took place.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the thing from the UK that came out too? Yeah. There's a lot of
I'm sure it's going to
different-
show up in my For You now, though.
Probably- I bet Gumpy probably already texted to you.
Lad, check this out.
See?
Guppy's got to catch up, though, because Twitter just came
a good
back,
point,
so
yeah.
he's uploading all the videos. He didn't have time. Got some good news on old Gump, I think, allegedly. Anyways, let's get to a break. We'll be back on the other side with AJ Hawk. Also, AQ Shipley will be joining us. Be a friend, tell a friend, take 5!
Tonight is a night where everything's going to be remembered. Every play, every sweat, every fight.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I will soon. Know as a child, back in the womb.
Hey, let's have a national championship Monday, huh?
My name's Pat McAfee. I've started this show 2 different occasions already. This will be the 3rd. Wow. It's 2023. We eat adversity for lunch. There's just so many different forms of gummies coming in my mouth.
Boss man, can you do a kickflip?
100 for it? 100 for it?
Oh!
Come on, bro. That was awesome. Hey, this little teddy bear is cool. This little round thing is sweet. All right, I feel pretty good for this ESPN party. Let's go have a blast in there. Boom. Need you to do a red carpet. I've never done a red carpet before.
I got to poop, sorry.
I don't know if now's the time.
We're invited to the ESPN party, and now we are all sitting on a red carpet. We had no idea this was coming, obviously. We thought we were just getting some free drinks.
A lot of people on the internet say I look high. What's that all about? I'm a massive fan of Posner. He was getting motivational speeches in between songs. He was playing other people's songs. He was telling people to stay down. We're going to make a moment. Only on the count of 3, we're going to go crazy. Oh, I know. Sad song. Sad song. Oh, oh, yeah.
A couple of these. Bring it up. Bring it up. Boost up. What do you want?
What'd you do?
Gotta make it practice game, baby. It's gotta last until 9 o'clock.
Happy birthday, sack of shit. Yeah.
So fired up to be here.
Yeah.
I got a necktie and everything.
Holy shit. Tim Tebow's here. Oh my God.
Look at that cut.
The most handsome shot in our show's history. Nick Saban has been spotted at SoFi. Great work in the back. Fox Team boys crushed it. Now we got game day, then the mega cast. Let's go. Hey, let's have a night.
Obviously, the enemy of great is good. The enemy of a dynasty is winning one championship and letting it go. Ron, you're obviously going to Colorado, a place that's been looking for some sort of championship for 20 years. You're also one of the greatest speakers I've ever heard. What are you saying to your team?
You can't get here and all of a sudden change. You don't want to see a different mannerism of somebody, and especially the coaches. See, everybody's talking about the players, but you got to coach the coaches too.
Did you smile there too? Were you smiling?
I smile. I do that every now and then.
The rat poison, smiling. That's embedded fourth quarter perfection. Matthew Stafford, fourth quarter perfection. Big moments, Tebow perfection. We got some real magic here tonight, don't we? And I love that toad that takes those mushrooms and eating them. With that being said, Stetson Bennett's 25 years old. He's so damn comfortable. Darnell Washington's the backup tight end. He's 6'7", 270. Brock Bowers, best player on the field. The defense full of dogs. Give it to Georgia Bulldogs to go back-to-back. First time since this man and his Alabama squad. I love the Bulldogs tonight, barking all over the place, coach.
Alright, here we go, huh? A little bit of rush from old game day down in the field. We went all the way to the roof to come back. We are so sorry. Alright, let's roll. I gotta get to the sleep, and then I'm gonna hop over the sleep thing. Good, man. You are looking at SoFi Stadium, where we'll be crowning a national champion for our college football season tonight. And the Dogs are on the board early. Wide open.
That's the shot that they wanted, baby.
Oh, Stetson Bennett with his second touchdown in the first half.
Oh, no.
Georgia's first down. One-handed touchdown. Brock Bowers, touchdown. It is currently 45-7.
That is 52-7. Touchdown!
This is just a good old back home ass whooping.
It's a blowout, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Hey-o! That son of a bitch, Uga, is having the night of his life.
Wow.
It's raining indoors in Los Angeles. This is God taking a tinkle on something magical, isn't it? Let's get mustache.
Get him on camera.
That mustache.
Holy smoke.
Holy smokes.
Are you a firefighter?
Good for you, bro. Thanks for your service. First down, Horned Frogs on a 2nd and 3. Why don't we call a game? Holy hell, Tim Tebow is coming. Tebow, we're live.
We're on.
We're live right now. Welcome back to SoFi Stadium. Right before the break, an extra point almost killed Tim Tebow. Natural instincts had to take in place. I could not lose the greatest human on earth, and I'm happy they gave you that ball, Tim. Tone, act like you're Sonny Dykes, please.
All right, boss. First half didn't go our way. We're doing this for the great state of Texas. You know who else was down 31 points?
Who's that?
The Italians.
All right, let's take the tractor another round. What are you watching out there, Coach?
Honestly, they're better off grabbing Luka Doncic out of the crowd and maybe lining him up next to Quentin guys in that receiver. Because they can't do a damn thing.
We decided Tebow here, formerly known as praying for this TCU team to do something. So you put your hands up, play that song, butterflies fly away. Thank you for your service, sir. You're a badass, man.
Those other Americans, I wouldn't be here.
What a run, huh? The boys crushed it. This shit
TCU sucks. What?
That's all she wrote for college football season. What a year. Let's fucking get home.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, you never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Boston.
Welcome back to our humble abode, the FanDuel Thunderdome. On this Overreaction Monday, March 6, 2023, hour 2 of this program starts right now.
Dead!
It is officially massacre season around the NFL as cap casualties are stacking as teams have to get under the salary cap's designated number. March 15th, which is next week, in franchise tag deadline is tomorrow. A lot is happening, obviously, with the Combine this past weekend. Golf had a weekend. UFC had a weekend. SNL had a weekend. There was magic everywhere. We're getting new information. People are getting signed and tagged. It's a glorious day. The Toxic Tables here at Boston Connor at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. Hammer Dahn is a gambling podcast.
It is.
Out of the Thunderdome, Monday through Friday, right over there, about 15 minutes after this show ends.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. We're in that season where we're talking golf, we're talking hoops, both professionally and collegiate. We're talking NHL. It gets a little cold in that studio over there when that happens.
Yeah. Hey, the Hammer Dahn boys, good gamblers.
Good gamblers. Yeah, you know what they say about the Hammer Dahn boys.
Pretty good gamblers. They spend a lot of time looking at books, trying to get the best odds and the best bets, and the boys have somehow maintained a winning streak for like 17 straight months.
It's unbelievable.
Love you, boys. Love you, boys.
Unless it's PGA golf, because I just throw money away betting golf.
Yeah, me too. I did a lot of live betting. So there was a way with the way the odds were.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I put 500 on Scotty, 500 on Rory, 500 on Spieth.
What?
Okay.
Oh,
so the worst thing that could happen was like if Rory would have won because he was in the lead, I would have lost like $100. But everything else I would have won. Like I think the lowest I would have won was $400. So I was anywhere from 400 to like 1,000 some. Worst case scenario minus 100. Bet 500. These three is the field.
Someone's winning.
And if you do see what took place is. That guy right at the top that I had zero faith in, he rolled a fucking 100-footer to a half a foot on 18, needed a 2-putt. He said, let me roll this thing in. Now, I am no golf expert. I did go golfing with the Mannings.
Sure. That's right.
Which led to a Golf Digest article, obviously, with a lot of golf bloggers and podcasters sending me questions both through my Instagram stories and on Twitter, asking me how a couple different golf courses were. We never said the golf course.
Nope.
No.
Never will say the golf course.
Never.
I am not a golf expert. Okay, I got a birdie on 9 at that golf course.
Nice.
There was a couple par 3s we played, par, no big deal.
Okay.
Had a couple eagle putts, you know what I mean? Picked up a bunch though too. Let's not get crazy. I'm no golf expert. Kitayama's putt there was rolling into the hole.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly rolling into the hole. And that thing stops.
Oh, yeah.
So you think to yourself, wait a minute, did something stop that? Was there a little bit of an uplift around the hole? Then you start thinking back to yesterday's round. Nobody could make a fucking putt.
Yeah.
Not a single person. Were they crowning those holes?
Whoa.
Down
Those
there at
holes-
Arnold Palmer?
Those holes might have been crowned, and that is a big slap in the face to that greenskeeper.
Wow.
That's a problem.
Hey, I think the Kitayama one's a big deal because everybody zooms in. That thing was rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling. It's not like that thing creeped to a stop
No,
there.
it was in.
Felt like there was momentum still with it, and it stops. It's like, whoa, something had to break that momentum up a little bit. And then you think back, a lot of putts right on the edge.
Oh, yeah.
They were kind of turning out.
Ton of them.
Was that hole worse than the Airbnb in Arizona?
No. That's the
similar.
epitome of crowning right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
That's the epitome of crowning there. Joining us now is a man that was with us in Arizona, a man that joins us every single day. He's a college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor.
Whoa.
Which
That's a big
we've
deal.
learned that they were piecing together that thing for you not to. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, how you doing, pal?
What's up? What was being pieced together?
No. We did this in the first hour. We don't need to dive back in. The amount of information we're getting about COVID right now is alarming, but that is not what we're here to talk about, okay? You do your own research. Twitter's back. Do your thing. We should be fact-checking everything we read, though, because we don't need to just be dumb zombies that believe anything we're told.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Okay?
What are you looking at me?
Ranching? Okay?
Light ranching.
Not every report on the internet is necessarily accurate, but a lot of the reports that are coming out right now are alarming. Golf tournament was awesome. UFC was awesome. Jon Jones is back. Made that thing look fucking easy, AJ Hawk. Easy.
He's too good, man. He's too good. 3 years. What you think there's ring rust? Like I doubt Jon Jones believes in it.
Well, he said actually he felt a little weird on his feet. He said he wished he would have been able to get a little bit more work on his feet. But
Why was the tape such a big deal when he was walking in?
So that's a foreign object, right, being added in there. I saw like some experts tweeting, and I had to read what other people are saying because I don't know the rules in and out. So I think the one tape was good. The extra tape was considered no bueno.
Not allowed?
And I think there was, Cormier was losing his mind. He's like, they're making them, people were wearing flip-flops or something like that. I don't know how it all goes, but as soon as he put his hands on him, I mean, it was as soon as he wrapped him, just like it was light heavyweight, like he was in light heavyweight. As soon as he got his arms on him, he just dumped that guy on his head. It was like, oh shit, the weight difference is not going to change anything. And it was only a matter of time. And it didn't even look like he had that thing set in yet. And then all of a sudden you see that guy's hand.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this thing's fucking over. It looked so easy. People thought he threw the fight, dude. That's what people thought because of how easy Jon Jones made it.
That's just who he is, though. I mean, when he goes against Cormier, and Cormier is known as absolute stud wrestler, and he takes Cormier down and tries to like beat him at his own game. That's just Jon Jones is an absolute freak. And didn't Dana even say like the greatest of all time, right? Didn't he crown him?
Yeah, and then he bawed into the microphone afterwards.
Right.
He thanked Jesus first and foremost. And then he thanked his fiance. I enjoyed hearing that Jon Bones Jones clearly has attempted to turn his life around.
Oh, yeah.
Because for the generation that hasn't seen Jon Jones fight, and that could potentially be existing right now, hasn't fought in 3 years, I doubt you got to see prime Jon Jones when the conversation was like, hey, this guy could leave the UFC and fill up an arena himself. He could be the Jake Paul of mixed martial arts. He was on cereal boxes. He could be the Floyd Mayweather of mixed martial arts. He was everywhere. Nike athlete. We're talking like this is the greatest of all time, pound for pound, the greatest of all time. Nobody will ever be able to beat him in a sport that was just going like this, which is the UFC. And there was contract disputes. And I got a chance to meet him one time and have a good time with him. And I know his family a little bit. His older brother played for the Colts and everything. Like, I was even saying, like, yo, you could do your own. You know, you could be Floyd Mayweather here. You're one of the only people. Could you imagine a Bones Jones back, not that he's not in his prime right now, he might still be in his prime, but back when he was in Brock Lesnar, just
man,
God.
that would have.
They talked about
Make
that.
it happen. Let's do it now. We can still do it.
Yep.
I think Brock's what, 45?
Yeah,
I'd watch.
He's 45,
you
dude.
think you throw enough money at Brock? I think he'd be up for it.
I agree. Well,
John.
I don't know. I saw him
with John
F5.
John, yeah, John has talked about. John has talked about Brock since his comeback. He's like, hey, there's a Sasquatch roaming. Pretty much, he was like, there's a Sasquatch roaming out there somewhere. He's 45 years old, very successful. Does he want to go through it? I don't know. I have not. No. That is not something that we would have I don't know anybody that would have that information, by the way, with how small Brock Lesnar keeps his circle. But as a fan, it would be amazing to see that type of thing. Also pumped for Stipe.
Yes.
He's getting like probably $5 to $7 million payday his next fight. There's no way he expected that since losing the title. And then obviously 2 years ago was the last time he fought. He lost then. It's like, I'm pumped for Stipe, AJ.
How could you not be? Anytime Stipe fights, I think it's fun. He's the easy guy to root for, but he had some weird eye surgery, didn't he? Or some eye injury that was going on for a long time. He's been dealing with all kind of stuff. So, I mean, you talk about ring rust. Like, how do you think you'd feel being Stipe coming back in to the cage for the first time in multiple years to face a heavyweight Jon Jones?
Not just – it appeared as if the heavyweight thing is going to benefit.
Yes. He loves it. He said, I don't have to cut weight. He felt great. Like, that's just how he feels so good.
And are they as good of wrestlers, right? Cormier was light heavyweight, then went up to heavyweight, right? And was double champ.
Yeah, he's done both.
Yeah.
He was double champ. Mm-hmm. I think potentially at heavyweight wrestling,
a little harder.
This might be easier for old Bones.
Yes.
It's a heavyweight thing than it was at light heavyweight, which is even crazier to think about. Joining us now is a man who's always in a fight camp.
That's right.
12-year NFL offensive lineman and currently in a fight camp in a man's basement in Arizona. Host of In the Trenches, Super Bowl champion AQ Shipley. AQ. Are you doing any training with Bones or what? Oh, look at that
fucking wrecking ball, baby.
Wow.
Right now,
can you show us?
Yeah,
What do you do?
you won't go do a question mark kick on that thing.
Yeah,
right now. You can't even get your leg up there.
No question mark kick.
Come on,
you can't even get your leg up.
Last time I did kicks, I almost passed out. I did 6 in a row. I held my breath the whole time. I almost died.
Smart. Yeah, we did see you. It appeared as if you were on a great diet and restriction. A little bit Meineke car care. We're back. We got 4 kids, long football season. When you lift your leg up, that cuts off, you know what I mean? Yeah. Your stomach goes to the lungs.
That's right.
So it's not.
It's a little tough. Gets a little tough.
Yeah, because as a punter, those years I was fat, it was not as easy during practice because I couldn't get my legs as high because the gut was just interfering. Mm-hmm. And also, it does compress.
Oh, yeah.
Like getting winded. I'm like, why am I tired right now? Oh, my entire fat shit is just eating into it's like I'm pregnant right now. My organs are moving into. Nonetheless, you look great. We growing our hair out?
Wow. No, I really let myself go. I don't know what's happened. We had the stomach flu go through our house over the weekend. I was playing a guessing game with my butthole all weekend. Didn't know if I was going to fart or shit. Didn't know what
Amen, brother.
Yeah, he could have had a Connor situation. He obviously exploded in his Lululemons and on his toilet in his apartment, in which the toilet is directly in the center of about the 100 square foot apartment that he has.
Yeah.
That had to be a miserable experience cleaning that up. Happy you didn't have to do that. That's what you looked like at one time, dude, this year. That wasn't that long ago.
Holy
Remember that.
Shit. Got a 6-pack.
I'm going to get back there.
Let's go. Why
I'm
not?
gonna get back.
Hey, why not, AQ?
Yeah.
I'm going to get back there.
Come on, Al.
That wasn't that long ago, AJ, was it?
That was like a month ago, I feel like.
Bingo.
I started training my guy Hainsey today, so I'm going to get back on the same diet. I'm going to get back in.
All right, this will be a good pivot away from. You see our guy Bones is back, by the way?
Oh, I was fired up. Was that awesome?
That is. I mean, he's obviously not been a perfect human. He's a professional human, or fighter.
Yeah.
He's like sometimes these fighters, I think there's a chance that
a couple wires get crossed.
There's a chance that decision making is not always going to be fantastic. It seems like he's in a great spot, and boy, did he look clean. And now he doesn't have to cut weight. AQ, that Jones family's going to be entertaining, I think, going forward, pal.
I mean, I think he's going to do the same thing to Stipe. I think he's going to do the same thing to him.
Who knows if the Stipe thing's guaranteed?
The Ohio guy.
The way Dana was talking about him, he basically...
Apprehensive?
No, he said dealing with John is like dealing with an artist. You never know how this thing's going to go, I think is how he said it. And he meant it as hey, negotiating with Jon Jones is a vastly different situation than negotiating with everybody else. This is the greatest of all time we're talking about here. Conor McGregor, another guy who has built up his empire to where it is. Like Dana negotiating with Conor, probably a bit different than negotiating with everybody else. So I think he didn't want to say Stipe is a certainty. There's still a lot of things we have to get through to get there, but it's great that Jon Jones is back. It's also great that there's things to talk about in the NFL, AQ. Combine happened this weekend. Obviously, the offensive line went yesterday and today. Whenever you're talking about the Combine, you're talking about offensive line. Should we care about anything that's going on, and what do you look at as a guy who's a coach now?
I think the only thing that you can literally take from the Combine is maybe that 10-yard split for offensive linemen. I think it's the only thing, because it just shows your burst. It shows what you can do in those first 10 yards. It's really all you care about, I think, from a coaching and a GM's perspective, really. I think that's the only thing you can take. The drills, you might as well fucking get rid of them all. They all stink. They're all stupid. They all mean nothing. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Just get rid of them all.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean they all mean? Yeah.
I mean, the one where you try and stay on a line and open your hips, what the fuck does that do? How does that translate to playing football? What does it do?
How do you feel about Voorhees? How do you feel about what happened to Voorhees? That guy tore his ACL in the middle of one of those.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I think we all think the same thing. I think this is an opportunity for all these coaches and GMs to get together, to meet with agents, to do all the stuff that they do during Indy Week. It's also another opportunity for all these coaches to get together and kind of basically talk to other people to see, okay, hey, you're a head coach next year. We start to try and put our staffs together, whatever it is. I think it's all just kind of a get-together, and the NFL makes a ton of money off it. And, I think the biggest thing you can take away from this is the interviews. The interview process, I think, is a good thing. I think that's the one thing, and I think it's another way for them to get the medical stuff. I think that's another good thing. The on-field shit, get rid of it. We don't need it.
That's the only thing that's the only thing we get to watch, though, AQ. AJ has a question for you.
AQ, what do you feel like? I was watching the tight ends, and they put the tight ends on that tough sled with a little bit of weight on it. I don't know if you watch it, and they have to hit their face first, basically. And a lot of them, if you raise it at all, it buries into the ground, and you can't do it. And they never really see much. Why are they doing that? And what are they trying to see? Just that they keep a wide base and they drive their legs? What is it?
AJ, your guess is as good as mine. I think we're just trying to see if you're tough enough to break your nose when you run into this stupid sled. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I think it's so dumb. It's like when I watch high school stuff now, when they start showing these rivals recruiting camps and they got O-line, D-line,
one-on-ones,
live one-on-ones with no pads on. What are we doing? It's unbelievable. There's nothing you can tell about a football player in shorts during OTAs. I've seen so many guys look like Hall of Famers doing OTAs and get cut the second week of training camp.
Mentally, though.
Have you guys all seen that? I think we have, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had the greatest gunner on earth, won OTAs. This guy was fucking unreal. Oh, my God. Hey, everybody else, just protect. Me and this guy will take care of everything else.
We got it.
That first preseason game, he got picked up, his pads.
No.
He got picked up by his pads and put onto his back. And it was like, all right, first time, he'll be all right.
Yeah.
This next time, he's going to be okay. He went for a swim, boom, bang on it. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, boy. We're going to have to work on his hands. Let's work on his hands. Next preseason game, same result. And all of a sudden, this guy's out of a job forever. But in shorts, this was the guy.
Oh.
This was the guy. But mentally, I think it's good. To your point, though, the interviews, massive. Okay, can't put those on TV, though. We got a chance to see Jalen Hurts' where he was being interviewed by Doug Peterson.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he gave a full answer about, being a dog and everything like that. And I enjoyed watching it, and the Eagles released that. We never see those. The only thing we do, 40s, I think you could see a little bit, right? Vert, I think you can see some explosion in the athlete. There was an offensive lineman who I think won 40. He's 6'7".
BYU.
Out of BYU, he won 40 inches. That shows some explosion, right? But all that other shit is not realistic, I don't think. But I don't know as much as you do. I'm happy you said it, not me, AQ.
Yeah, listen, I think at the end of the day, I think you're right, but I think here coming up in 3-4 weeks, is that they can do the same stuff. When they go do the pro days, you get a longer interview process. You get to spend more time. These interviews at the Combine are 15 minutes, and then you're on to the next. So really, how much are they really getting done? It's just a cram session. And then obviously there's more stuff you can do at the train station like at night. But if you got interviews set up, bang, 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 there's not a ton of time over there. So I think when you get the one-on-one stuff at the pro days, I think that's the stuff that's more important. So like I said, we could do away with the whole thing.
I was talking to a few GMs this weekend. No big deal. Been in the biz. Know some people. I was basically asking them, like, hey, have we learned anything about anybody? Like, has there been any? And they're like, I need to stress them a little bit, pretty much. Like, we need to, this is all too scripted, pretty much. Need to get them a little bit more stressed before we can find out. I think that's how every position is being evaluated. I asked that about, like, wide receiver position, because we had a West Virginia guy who's, like, might be a guy. All of a sudden, I thought he was a freshman. I thought we had him for another couple years. I see him in the combine. I'm like, there's no way that's the same guy I thought it was. He runs a 4.38 or whatever. It's like, excuse me, did this guy just jump? Obviously we have to look at him more, but this is not the setting really for us. And your thought immediately goes to, like, so what are they getting out of this? You know what I mean? What are we getting out of all this stuff? I guess we got to see the quarterback spin it a little bit, which was awesome. That was cool.
Yeah, you guys enjoyed that.
AQ's a coach. So AQ, are you just trying to confirm what you saw on tape? You were a coach? What did you say? I keep cutting you off.
Well, he said, yeah, you guys enjoyed that. Like, we're some fucking marks.
Yeah. We're the marks here. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
AQ. I enjoyed it. I am a mark.
This guy's been going through a stomach bug. Yeah, I'm a mark too. You're right, AJ. Sorry, go ahead though, AJ.
No, I'm saying, AQ, you were on a coaching staff of a Super Bowl winning team. I don't know if you went to any pro days or anything, but if you go to the combine, aren't coaches, like the good coaches at least, they just want you to, like, confirm what they saw on tape? Like, hey, we just want to see you in person and see that, hey, you are this guy.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, right, like the tape's the biggest thing that matters. They want to be able to see you in person. And I think the other thing that comes down to is they want to see if the mental side translates. So the biggest thing for us as on the offensive line side is, okay, cool, like the tape matches up. Now let's pick apart his personality. Let's see if he is a prick. Let's see if he is a dog. Let's see what kind of mentality he has. Let's just hear him talk about, like, what, like, hey, listen, what do you like to, what do you love about football? What give me something that you love. And if this guy's like, I love fucking finishing people. I love putting every chance I get, I want to put this guy on the ground. That's what I want to hear, right? And then you put him on the board and you're like, hey, draw up 36 power, and he draws it up to the left and draws some guy running like an inside zone. You're like,
doesn't know football. But that's what I'm hearing. Oh, so I'm gonna have to coach.
So like that's the biggest thing. Like you just want to see these guys on a board, see if they know football, see if they understand it enough where they can retain some stuff. Like the biggest thing that they like to do, especially on the O-line side, they might give you like 3 plays. They might tell you, hey, listen, I'm so-and-so from the Carolina Panthers. Here's 3 of our offensive runs. And they do like a quick little install on these 3 runs. And then they want to see what you can retain. Okay, perfect. I just gave you 3 runs. Draw up, duo, draw up, inside zone, draw up power versus 3 different defenses. They want to see what it looks like.
I would want to know what Deuce Counter Trey looks like in their eyes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let me see what Deuce Counter Trey looks like. Where are we hiding the tight end? How are you getting the boys? How are you going to enjoy the leverage that we're able to draw up for you? Are you able to get around? Are you a center that has feet? Are you training anybody this year or no?
Yeah, I got Robert Haynes again. Same guy.
Okay, no new class though. Congratulations. You have not graduated into the shipyard. None of you are worth it. Is what you said?
Yeah, I like keeping it simple. I put my attention into one person. Somebody wants to come train, give me a shout. Other than that, I got my attention on one person, and I go back to being a family guy.
What? Oh, here.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
Good job.
That's why I didn't want to coach anymore. I wanted to be with his family. It makes sense because when you're coaching, that just doesn't. That's not a real thing.
Like Tom.
Not a real thing.
Not a real thing. Hey, honey, you're doing great with the kids. See you in February, hopefully. You know what I mean? That's coaching. And I appreciated that you did that one time, though. Thank you for your service to football.
There you go, Al.
I just saw a photo up here. You're willing to do anything for your team. And I think that is why, you know what I mean? That is why you were a guy that was beloved everywhere. Thank you for your service to football.
Thank you. Can we fucking fix the copy machine? I mean, that thing was fucking terrible.
Well, You're the guy that was supposed to fix it. So,
snake toilets, you pick.
Yeah, it's
your
a-
job.
Mask discipline is not very good.
Yeah, that was disgusting. Did COVID spread through you and the it's a
Wow.
copy machine? Oh my God! You put it in the
Paper?
copy machine.
Oh, no.
Everybody's getting it.
Everybody got it. I did get COVID that year too.
Oh!
You beat it.
Survivor.
Yeah, you beat it.
There you go.
I beat it.
We're not even getting into it.
No.
Connor has a question for you, not about that, about football.
Not getting into it. The New York Times did tell us, though, however, that
All right,
mass
yep.
placement by AQ is just fine.
Yeah,
Okay?
that was an opinion piece. I
Yep.
think that has to be said, but
Yeah, sure, it was. an
it was
opinion
pretty
piece.
loud
It
right
was
there.
Very loud. Might have been my opinion, but I didn't write it. AQ, I'm curious because you said once when you were in here, linemen are just big, fat, dumb dipshits, and it's easy to play offensive line. Very simple game. There's no, sort of mind or thought. You just block the guy in front of you. What are you and Bob Hainsey working on? Are you working on stuff that is specific to the Bucs or specific to teams that they played, or kind of how does that go in the offseason with him?
That's a great question. Yeah, so the biggest thing with him is last year when I got him, he had no pro game film, right? He didn't play at all his rookie year.
Yeah.
So it was tough. This year, it's great. We got 17 games. He started all 17 games regular season. I got a ton of stuff I can break down from what he did during the season, and then also just getting him more comfortable. He was a right tackle for 4 years at Notre Dame. When we drafted him, we moved him into center, and since I've taken over the training with him, like in the offseason, it's just been really just getting him more comfortable. It's such a moving from tackle to center is such a big difference. It's such a big jump, and so we're just doing as much as we can, as many reps as we can. All those reps that he may have missed out on when you draft a kid that's played center for 4 years in college. He has all those reps from college, and now he never had any of those reps. And so now all we're doing is just repetition, working on his pass sets, keep hammering, keep working the run game. It's different playing in a neutral stance versus a stagger stance that he had his entire time when he was at right tackle, right? And so being able to go right and left. He's got to set left. He's got to set right. Didn't have to do that as a tackle. Those are all huge things that we just got to get him comfortable with. And the more reps he gets, the more he gets better at it.
Is it because of his stature? Why is he a center in the NFL?
Yeah, again, the combine, it does a phenomenal job telling people that they're an inch too short or
Arms are too short.
An inch too short arms, and they
right,
just
AQ.
fucking take money
Put your
out
arms-
of people's pockets. And
Put your arms to your side. We're going to measure it. Okay, straighten your arms, sir.
There we go.
Straighten your
His
arms, sir.
wingspan.
I am straightening them. No, put them all the way out to your side,
What?
then. That's got to be the smallest wingspan we've ever seen for an offensive lineman. That's why you hate the combine, huh?
That's a part of it. I mean, at the end of the day, listen, I think the tape never lies. I think we all agree with that. I mean, how many
12
times can we sit here? The tape never lies. I think that's the biggest piece of advice that you can give any young person, any coach, any scout, any exec, anything. I think when you watch it, if the guy can play football, he can play football. Now, I think football speed's completely different. There's so many guys that run 4.65, 4.7, and they're 7-time Pro Bowlers as a running back. Like, who gives a shit? If a guy can play football, he can play football.
Jacob Tammy, I don't know what his 40 was at the combine. He was tight end out of Kentucky. He would leave the Colts and go to the Broncos with Peyton. He was one of Peyton's guys. He might have run a 4.7 or something like that. Kickoff, he was the first one in the end zone, though. So, that would be the exact
football speed.
That's exactly like the 40.
Yeah.
And somehow he's the first one in there whenever
Should
those
they wear
guys-
pads, AQ? Should they wear pads at the combine next year? O&D lineman, maybe?
I think that's a nightmare waiting to happen. Hell, we're tearing ACLs without pads on, running the fucking O-line wave drill, right? Like I think at the end of the day, the PA is going to step up at some point and just be like, hey, like we can't do this. Like we got a guy who's supposed to be a top 100 draft pick who just lost out on a shit ton of money.
You're talking about Voorhees or just a future situation that could happen?
I just think, I think when that stuff happens,
Is he top 100? That Voorhees guy? That Voorhees guy is a guy? Do you know?
I mean, that's the kid from USC you're talking about, right?
Towards ACL. He had some injuries.
Yeah, like
last
I
season.
read this morning he's supposed to be a top 100 guy. I've never seen him play. I've never watched anything. I'm just going by what I read.
Yeah, the most reps on the bench press.
With the torn ACL this morning, he went 38 on 225. That matters, right?
I mean, I think that shows something, but at the end of the day, somebody put it up the other day, too. Like, Trent Williams did 23 reps. He's the strongest fucking human on planet Earth, maybe.
Tone Diggs has a question for you.
Yeah, AQ, to all your points there, you talked about Hainsey going from right tackle to center in the NFL. They're talking Skoronski, his arms are too short. He's going to have to move to guard. Is it easier to move from like tackle to guard or tackle to center versus maybe you're in the NFL and you're going to move from right tackle to left tackle? We know Orlando Brown did it. Maybe a guy with you that you played with might have to do it. What's easier, or what's the different things going on with that?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. Like for me, when I moved from center to guard, I thought it was easier because I'm so used to having a guy right on my face. I gotta snap and block somebody
he just
initially
comes,
with my hand.
So he comes right on your face there when you're at center?
Just something.
Just comes right on it, right? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez. What are you talking about?
Jeez. You tell me, you sickos.
You're going to end up on
We're
Jimmy
talking
Kimmel.
about football, dude.
Well, get your head out of the gutter over there.
What are you talking about? So at center, you're right here. You got guy ready to just come right here on your face.
Coming all over.
Right?
Yeah, but I think that's the biggest thing.
True, yeah. You stand up, you suck them up easy.
That's a good stance right there. That's a good flat back.
That is.
Huh? You see that?
That was a good flat back stance right there.
So maybe I'm supposed to be interior offensive lineman. I'm always doing
I'm
always doing the tech, which goes to your point. It goes to what we're talking about right here. I'm supposed to be an interior O lineman, aren't I?
I think that's it. That's good.
Huh?
Give a little point. Point the mic out.
Fucker, right there.
Yeah.
There it is.
No, you shift over here. Count him. He's out. Count him. He's in. Duo down.
I like it.
You got to do the fake head down snap too.
Yeah, do the white.
Yeah, a little head bob. There it is.
That's really good.
That was good.
Wait.
What's the rule on that? What's my bad time?
Go ahead.
Wait,
That's a good looking stance.
Oh, shit. Go zero. No.
You guys got to catch that.
Milk, juice, and paper towels.
What was it?
It was Coke Zero.
Oh!
Dale Jr. and Take went down as well.
Oh, no!
Unbelievable.
All the
drink.
No, 3.
I tried to. In my head, by the way, that ball snapped right here to your head.
It would have been perfect. If I was slid over. I was fucking aligning my my slot receivers.
Come on, Tony, get it together.
That's on me. I apologize for spilling the Coke Zero, too. I know those are
yeah.
a dime a dozen.
Liquid gold.
Tristan Wirfs, so he's going to the other tackle. Is he good or not? We think he's going to be able to figure it out?
I think it's tough. I think he's good enough to do it. I think it's going to be a situation where he's going to have to get comfortable. I think it's another thing. When you've been wiping your ass with your right hand for 22 years, and now you gotta wipe with your left. It's a little. That's the way I can give you the best analogy. It's a little different, right? So I think it just becomes repetitions again.
Sewell did it.
I think the bidet, Sewell was able to accomplish it.
Yep.
But he never played in the NFL at right tackle, right? He just played college right tackle?
Yes, good point.
Then the NFL left tackle, which I think is same. You got to figure out how to do the feet, but baptized early as opposed to NFL level, all pro level right tackle, right, Wirfs?
Yeah, he's a stud. I mean, there's no question. I think so many people don't realize it too. It's like your muscles get accustomed to certain things in this stagger, right? Like if your left foot's forward and your right foot's here, this quad's getting a different feel than this quad. This calf, this everything is in a different feel. The way your hands are thrown, the way you're used to feeling things inside hand versus outside hand. All these things go into it. You don't realize it. And then you go to the other side, and now it just feels awkward. So it just becomes about repetitions, getting used to using this hand now as your post hand and this as your outside hand. It's a completely different feel.
To Diggs's point, having to wipe with the other hand like you broke your wrist or something, I think the interior offensive line, they use Toto.
Yeah.
They use the bidet. They're not wiping with any hand. They're square, right?
Exactly.
Okay, got it. AJ, go ahead, pal. Sorry about it.
AQ, you say it's reps. Like, say Wirfs is going from right to left. What can he do now in the offseason? What is he going to do? Take a bunch of pass sets in the stance like he's a left tackle? But then how long do you think it takes, like, real legit reps through training camp, one-on-ones, preseason, and then until he actually feels somewhat comfortable in that stance?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I can't answer that. Honestly, like what that exact number is going to be, but I think it's a lot. I think it's going to be, and then you're going to have to get live reps. That's why it was so impressive when I saw Tyron Smith do that. Whenever he moved over to the right side or whatever it was, left side, I think it was late in the season. I was just like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy that he's going over here and playing this well after doing it so long at the left side. So I think whenever it happens and people do it quickly, I think that's freakish because again, like your hips are offset a certain way, your quads. I mean, everything's different. Your hands, the motion, the way you throw your hands. So many people, left tackle might be an inside hand thrower. So boom, he gets so used to it. Boom, that hand's coming. Well, now that's the other hand. So now that's his outside hand. And now getting this one, it's completely different. It really is. And so he's got to get live reps, and he's got to get live reps against good guys. Fortunately, he's got some good pass rushers down in Tampa, so he'll have plenty of reps, OTAs if they go, and then obviously training camp.
Ty has a question for you, AQ.
Yeah, AQ, why do you think in terms of we see Anthony Richardson, all the stuff he does, his draft stock goes through the roof. When it comes to O-linemen, it seems like that never happens no matter what, unless it's one of these dudes from a small school. It seems like it happens every single year. Like this year, the dude from North Dakota who doesn't have the teeth. And I don't know if that starts at the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl, like one of these guys who either played D2 or D3 or whatever, they get a little shine. These are only the ever guys who their draft stock actually moves when they come to the combine. Why is that?
Yeah, I think partly because of what I said. It's like nobody gives a shit about the 40-yard number. Nobody cares about that. So nothing's really getting accomplished for linemen at the combine. Okay, cool. Let's watch him do the same fucking wave drill he's done 400 times. That does nothing. Put Aaron Donald across from him, see what he does. That's the biggest position group where you have to see him versus somebody else. I think even OTAs, it's let's not put stock into this because you're wearing a loose jersey during OTAs. You're doing all these things that aren't realistic. The entire position of O-line, D-line is about violence with your body and your hands.
What?
Boom, we got to throw. We got to throw our head in there, which none of that stuff can be done at a combine during OTAs. None of that stuff whenever you're not wearing pads. So I think that's the biggest thing. An interesting little kind of fact, tidbit, that the way these scouts and execs and GMs think about, and I didn't know this until I got into the coaching side, kind of learning on that side of the way that they think and operate with some of these D2, D3, lower level guys. A lot of them won't even look at those linemen going into the draft unless they were left tackles at those schools. So if you're at a Wisconsin Whitewater, a Colorado Pueblo, anything like that, you had to have been a left tackle at that school because in their eyes, that's the best lineman playing the best position on the lower level, and now we can move them wherever. If you look at the Bucks when I was down there, Ryan Jensen, Colorado Pueblo, Ali Marpet went to Hobart, which is a D2, D3 school.
D3,
Alex Capra
Dogs.
went to I forget the name of the school.
Oh,
Humboldt State in California. All three of them were left tackles at their schools.
How about you pulling Humboldt State out of there? We were about to talk about how disrespectful you are and bad of a teammate, but instead, pull that thing right out of your ass with your left hand and your right hand.
What?
Could have played guard, center, or any other position needed. We appreciate you so much for your time and your information, sir. Enjoy the rest of the day. You look good. You look, baby, grow that hair out.
Yeah.
Skull
looks sweet. I love the shipyard. You got some good equipment back there.
You did it earlier. You were saying something very real, and you did that whole thing, and all any of us saw was the little head that was on the top of your head. You know what I mean? It was tough, but you crushed it, and I think you're living your best life. You need to know that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Always fun with you boys.
Super Bowl champion AQ Shipley.
Yeah.
All right, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Combine don't mean a damn thing for offensive linemen, and AQ carries some real hate in his heart for the combine. Did you hear that, AJ?
Combine drills specifically, he carries a lot of hate.
Yeah, I felt like the whole thing.
I understand though. It's true. You got to know if you can someone can be super fast, they can jump high, they can do all this stuff, but can they play football? That is what we need to know.
Voorhees tore his ACL on field drills. Some offensive lineman blew out his hamstring while running the 40. So it's the biggest moment of their lives, their biggest audition of their lives. We need you to do everything you don't do in football to get a job in professional football.
Yep.
Don't think about it. This is how it's always been done. You just put on the noble and fucking do it.
That's right.
It's kind of how it's viewed, right? Feels like?
Yeah, pretty much that's how it is. But the PA and DeMaurice Smith and people are trying to change that a little bit, right, and give players more power.
Yeah, and I think there's a smart way, Like, we can adjust what the offensive line does.
Yeah, you should do a 10-yard.
Literally
They don't need to run the 40. That's 100% true.
Have them run 20. Have them run 20.
Yeah.
But every strength coach that you'll have, good college and in the pros, I guess not at Baltimore.
True.
But every position that guy has since been let go. We hope everything's good. I hope he gets better so everybody that works out for him doesn't hate him going forward for the rest of his life. That's certainly not how it's supposed to go. Every position has their own designated workout. Hey, bigs are doing this, mids are doing this, speed's doing this. And then the combine's like, we're all doing everything. Okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Doesn't make any sense.
You even have different conditioning tests. When I was in Cincinnati,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of places run like half gassers, and sometimes O-line, D-line run like just half of the half gasser, so just one way across the field. But in Cincy, I think we ran 40s, maybe 20 or 30 40s, and D-line, O-line, big group ran 20s. And I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. They can burst and get out, and they don't have to run 40 because very rarely will they ever run 40.
Yeah, they started up on like the 10, right?
Yeah, they'd be up ahead of us.
Yeah. That was genius.
I just remember Carlos Dunlop still played. He just got a ring with the Chiefs. Carlos is on the team. Absolute freak of a human. Carlos would be doing 20s, and he could win every single 40 against the whole team. Like his burst and his get up, like 2 strides, Carlos goes 32 yards. Like the dude is unreal.
So my freshman year, I get into college, my first time in the football world. I'm fresh out of soccer still, and I was pretty fast in soccer, and my lungs good. We're in a good spot. I've been running. I'm running with the speed that first summer in my freshman year, and that's like, those were some fucking hard workouts. Like, those are some tough times.
Was Pack on the team then?
Pack had just left. Pat White was on the team, though. So I'm running with Pat, Steve, basically all of our corners, like wide receivers. I'm running with it. But I thought, like, hey, this will be how I earn respect, from these guys. Then sophomore year, I'm like, all right, I'm going to the mids. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over to the mids.
LBs.
I'm going to go with the mids. And then I get to the NFL, and I asked Vinny, I'm like, who are we running with? He's like, O-line. Absolutely. We're running with the bigs in the NFL. So I've literally run with all 3 groups. I want to let you know, life is good with the bigs. It is not good as a big in the bigs, though. It's smart, though, to adjust the 315-pounder versus the 180-pounder running differently. Let's think about that with the combine. Let's adjust some things. Let's use our brains, and let's make it as beneficial as possible, because I think we all would like to see it continue.
Yeah.
And if you hear the way AQ talks, and if you hear the way, like, Damari Smith is phrasing it, it's like, we would like this to be beneficial, so we'll continue to have this as an opportunity to learn about who's about to be in the fucking NFL, but we got to use our brains. We can't just be like, man, this is how it's always been. Do it, you fat fuck. Like that, we can't do. We're at the point now where we know a lot more stuff. We have learned a lot more stuff, and there's new ideas that have worked, and we've seen them work. So, like, let's continue to evolve. I think that's all I'm asking.
Every year is like clockwork. Poor Big Snacks. Casey Hampton was doing the same conditioning test as Ike Taylor.
Yeah, man.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say kind of
It's a real deal, though. Casey Hampton used to show up.
Old Big.
This dude was a Volkswagen Bug showing up the first day of training camp. Always a story. Casey Hampton has not made weight this year. They're going to take a week, try to get him into better shape, weigh him in next week, and see how it all goes. He would always be carrying like a pillow. He'd be walking in, be like, I'm ready to get to work. And then he'd just walk into the door.
It's 380 pounds.
Unbelievable. So good at football. So good at football. But those first couple weeks, his joints having to do something similar to somebody else's is dumb and rude. And not everybody can get away with that. You got to be incredible at football like Big Hamp was. What are you going to say, Colin?
Well, and if it's about like ratings and money, then you do what you kind of did this past weekend, except you just put the premier guys on Saturday, Sunday. Like you put the quarterbacks, the running backs, the wide receivers, the DBs on Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 8, 1 to 7, whatever it was, because that's when the most people are watching. And then if you're putting O-line, D-line on Thursday, Friday, then sure, maybe not everyone's seeing that, but that's when you don't have to run everything.
So I was not invited to the combine. I think kicking and punting, you can kind of tell. With an NFL ball, you get a chance to see, is this guy competitive too? Because there's other people around. Once again, I was not invited, so I cannot tell you what the feelings were being there. Probably wouldn't have been a Colt if I was invited, because those are the types of situations I very much enjoy. Probably would have done well kicking if I had to guess. Probably would have got into that, not 100% sure. The guy out of Michigan State's dog, Bryce Behringer.
Yep.
Sources have told me he's
Got it.
Legit won games for MSU last year. Like, not even kidding.
But he hits like good ball.
Bomb,
It's
yeah.
not like he hits like an NFL ball.
Yep.
He hits like 5-0 hang times and everything like that. Like
Was so good.
He hits big balls. They're saying he's projected like third, fourth.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like maybe
That's what Camardo was. Right?
maybe fourth round. Yeah, like
And
third, fourth
Stout?
round, late third, early fourth, or whatever.
Jeez.
So if you have a great defense, terrible offense, getting a punter is a weapon. Like that is when you normally see a team. It's like, hey, offensively we kind of stink, but we have a great defense, so we'll try to win with field position. They're saying somebody's going to go get him, and the kicker was Moody, I think. Is that
from Michigan.
Kid
He's
from
dominant.
I guess he had a fucking hell of a performance.
Hell yeah.
I heard that from a couple different sources. So good on those guys having a great
Yeah.
great workout. Those types of things happen all over the place, though. Like there'll be a pro combine in like Dallas that a bunch of like scouts and special teams coaches will go to. There'll be like a pro combine in Arizona that a bunch of scouts and coaches will go to in the kicking world and everything like that.
Do you think those guys are, ever, especially the specialists, watching the XFL just to see like is there
Do not go to Vegas. If you're a kicker or a punter, and I think there are a lot of younger ones and guys in the league now watch. Do not go kick in Vegas in the XFL. They are playing in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
It is like 45-mile-an-hour winds there.
That's where Gronk had a kick.
In Arizona, in the middle of the desert, yeah. I think guys are going to ruin their careers going the kick for this Vegas Vipers team in the middle. Now, I don't know if this is how it's going to be every single week. A ref had to hold the fucking kickoff. A ref held the kickoff because of how windy it was. Like the ref, and granted, that happens on just standard windy things, but watching those games out there, it's like very, very windy. I'm like, this ain't helping your NFL hopes, I don't think. Just missing kicks everywhere. I don't know if. So
Why would the ref hold it and not a player?
So they have that.
They're lined up downfield.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
And I heard fucking Troy Vincent say, we're taking a look at what other leagues are doing. Don't you fucking think about it, Troy, doing what the XFL does for those kickoffs. XFL has a lot of great ideas. We can go all the way back to the Skycam. Shout out to the XFL. Their review system. We love it. Shout out for that whole entire thing.
Yeah.
That kickoff looks like a practice.
Mickey Mouse.
It looks bad. It looks, but it's safer. It's like.
Okay.
I mean, the one they have now is pretty safe.
Yeah, it feels like it always gets, and I don't know the numbers. We should look into this. We'll have our own people do our numbers because we know how stats can be kind of portrayed.
Right.
Yeah.
Feels like every time they talk about making a game safer, it always goes right to kickoff and punt.
It does.
It's like they're directing the conversations like, oh, yeah, we're going to make the kickoff and the punt better and everything like that. I'm like, is it still? Because kickoffs mostly touchbacks.
Yep.
Now.
Yeah. It's not better. You can't say better. You could say potentially safer, not better.
But they're saying they want to. We'll continue to evolve, and we're looking at what other.
They'll take it out. They'll take it out eventually, probably.
Come on, can't have it, AJ. Don't need you saying that.
I don't
either.
want them to. I don't want them to. I mean, I guess I say that, but I don't. I don't think they'll completely take it out. I guess it just seems like way too much to completely take it out, but it will continue to evolve, I bet.
Can't do the XFL kickoff though. Can't have it. I saw that last time the XFL. I was there for that one game I did on the sideline, and I watched it happen. Is this? I almost couldn't take anything serious. And then I saw some good football.
Did you?
That last time, I feel like they had.
Yeah, there actually was some decent football the last time around, I feel like.
Flash is playing his ass off.
Yeah, him and Danush got a special connection.
How's Martavis doing?
Martavis?
Right.
What's the attendance been like for most of them?
Some good, some
many
bad.
people.
Yeah, it depends on the city.
DC's good. They love their.
Yeah,
well, they're undefeated too.
Fuck Dan Snyder. They're going to those DC Defenders games as like a strike boycott against the Commanders almost. That's great for Dwayne. Dwayne needs to figure out. Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia need to, like St. Louis, great attendance we'd assume, and that's as a fuck St. Louis
fuck the
Rams,
Rams, yeah.
type thing. Need to find those cities that feel jaded by their NFL teams and put XFL teams in there just so the fans will show up to say fuck you to the other one.
I just remembered XFL ended the world. Remember Seattle Dragons Nacho guy ended all the world.
Yeah, that was when the XFL got canceled.
That's right.
There was a concession stand worker that had COVID that was serving nachos to patrons of the game, and we had to shut it down.
Hundreds of thousands of people died because of that guy.
At least.
We need not say that type of stuff.
I thought that's what the report was.
That's how it got into America?
Yeah.
Through the
First
through
40
Seattle.
cases.
Through the tortilla.
AJ, there's a lot of COVID stuff coming. It's hard not to just to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We are way too dumb to be the ones that are talking about it. We will say, though, like, there's a lot of alarming stuff being said right now, AJ. Like, alarming stuff.
How's it all going to play out, though? That's what I say. I mean, there's so much out there. It's like, whatever. People are set.
So we've been in a situation where, like, the New York Times has said something, Wall Street Journal said something, HBO has said something, numerous places have said something, and then Washington Post, and then we get sued, and all those people don't. We've been in that situation before.
Yes.
We've been there before. Yeah. In this case, it does feel like all the heavy hitters are saying something.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's why it's hard not to talk about, because it is such a massive conversation from sources that it's like, okay, I'm not reading this off of some Jerry and Joe's, bullshit little blog. Like, these are coming from massive news sources.
You don't like Jerry and Joe's.com?
No, I just don't like him taking shots at him.
I'm not taking shots at him, but if I were to say, well, I read on Jerry and Joe's blog that the masks don't help, that doesn't carry as much weight as, I read in the New York Times that the masks didn't help. It's two different kind of things.
We had some breaking news before we get to a break. You're right with that, by the way.
That's why.
Remember, Aaron said Rogan was a part of a council of like 15 people that he talked to.
Yeah.
And that's when Dr. Joe Rogan started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Oh, you listen to a podcast host about what? Get the fuck out of here. Well, he also said he talked to like 10 doctors and everything. Joe Rogan just happened to be in there. So to your point about JerryandJoes.com, New York Times carries a lot more weight than JerryandJoes.com.
Exactly.
Or Joe Rogan even.
Mm-hmm. Still love JerryandJoes.com.
Jerry and Joe's
it's a
doesn't
great
have
website.
an agenda. Those other places might.
Yeah, but Tony, they're in line.
Jerry and Joe's has an agenda.
Yeah.
I will guarantee.
No, I go right down the middle. I find all my news right down the middle.
You'll find that a lot.
How about Russell Brand and that guy?
Oh.
Yes.
That guy legitimately thought he didn't have a political slant in his coverage. That was wild to me. I think that was my biggest takeaway. Like, Russell Brand was fighting that the sky was blue to this guy, and he was fighting back. No, as a member of the Sky. No, it is not. That was why. That was my most surprising thing. Like, yes, you are. What do we even? I can't believe that was the topic that got them to that particular piece. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, none of it makes sense, but yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, it's weird. Russell Brand, what a change in direction his career has taken, too.
I listen when I fucking heard it. Like, it is.
Actually, you know what, Diggs, though? You know what? Russell seems like a guy that tries to shoot right down the middle, though. He legit does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Jaguars wide receiver.
Ooh, here we go.
Calvin Ridley has been fully reinstated back into the NFL after a year-long suspension because he put together an 11-leg parlay, another 9-leg parlay, and a 13-leg parlay in the state of Florida, legally through a sports book, illegally via NFL guidelines. Even though he was not on the roster at the time because he was injured, he got suspended for an entire year because Roger Goodell said precedent has to be set. With the legalization of sports gambling happening and it becoming much more of a reality in our faces every single day, we cannot have any question of our integrity as a league. None of our players can be caught gambling or even understanding what gambling is. So the sophistication of the bets, I think, also added on to the whole thing. Calvin Ridley's back. He's currently on the Jaguars, I do believe. Correct. And that team adds another weapon. Congrats to Calvin Ridley serving his time.
Hell yeah.
Understanding that because he was the first, he was going to get the strongest and harshest penalty. He is now back in the NFL, AJ Hawk.
Yes. And credit to the Jags for picking him up, too. I mean, he gets suspended. Everyone kind of forgets about it. And you realize this guy's a young player that is, at times can be an absolute stud receiver. We know that. So.
Very good football player.
Yes.
That offense.
Trevor Lawrence gets another weapon, and the entire NFL gets told every single first meeting of the year. You remember what happened to Calvin Ridley? Yep. Pete Rose, remember? Calvin Ridley, you remember what happened?
Don't even think about it. Don't even go look around, they'll say.
We're going to take a lot of money from every sports book that'll pay us.
Mm-hmm.
You all, okay, this is how this game's going to work. You all can't.
No.
Because then we stop getting as much money because people don't view our sport as fair because you guys can potentially compromise it all. Okay? So here's the game. Stay oblivious. Don't be Calvin Ridley, and everything will be fine. That is what every meeting is going forward, AJ. Proper?
It is, but also, how weird is it going to be at some point? It probably already happened where they're like, hey, let's welcome on whoever, a current player to the show on our whatever sports book we promote hotline or whatever, or it's an NFL show, and they're sponsored by a sports book or something.
So I'm not going to say it. Don't need to say it. That type of thing already started happening.
Still happening.
And we just kind of backed off of it because it's like we don't want to be the ones that say, like, that seems like you're dancing too close to the sun here.
Uh-huh.
That seems like you are, but hey, do whatever you got to do. Get your money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to a break.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting, though.
Oh, yeah. It's going to even make more money as we go on every year.
So here is as the states become legalized.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Bingo.
So the Colts have a scratch off here in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What?
I wanted to have a scratch off. McAfee's Millions. I wanted to team up with the Indiana State Lottery to have scratch offs.
Ooh.
Make it affordable. Grand prize, $1 million. Like, let's do this. With my popularity in Indiana, with my demo in Indiana, I thought we could do pretty good on these scratch offs. I thought this could be a pretty good thing. NFL told me absolutely not. So I raised my hand in that meeting where they start breaking, things down. I go, how come the Indianapolis Colts are allowed to have a deal with the lottery? I'm not. What's that all about? So they're allowed to make money off of who they are, but I'm not allowed to make money? It seems like a good idea. I'm not allowed to do that. And they go, yeah, players and coaches aren't allowed to do that, blah, blah, blah. Then somebody pulled me aside and said, do you like it around here? Do you like the way it is, the lights, the building? It's a pretty nice place. Got a brand new stadium, salary cap's good, money's good. Like, I was like, yeah, they're like, no need to do the whole poke the bear thing. I'm like, okay, all right, I got you. Turns out that would have been a nightmare to do anyways with the amount.
I can imagine, yeah.
It'd be cool,
regulations.
But I was not happy that I was not allowed to do it. And I'm like, I'm sitting in a fucking, what are we even doing? How about players weren't allowed to do any alcohol deals? And then there'll be the Crown Royal Lounge is on the field. It's like, what are we even, well, you guys, what are we?
It's
different. What, dude? This doesn't make any sense. Same type of thing here with sports gambling. This one, though, because the integrity of the game cannot be compromised. We all agree with that. I am a firm believer in that.
The perception can't even be there.
Can't even have an inkling of it. That's why when it happened, we said, ooh.
Not good.
Not good. And then when Roger Goodell gave the season-long suspension, we said, feel like that was pretty much understood. But then the rest of the world was like, a season for that, 2 games for this, 4 games for this, 8 games for this. How does that whole thing work? And it's like, you like it around here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's pretty much how it all went down, isn't it? I mean, that's legitimately how it all went down.
That's what'll be fun to see how everything plays out over the next 5 to 10 years with all the money coming in. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Big money.
Oh yeah, and there are already marks on the internet talking about the NFL being rigged. So yeah, if you were to add this into it, then yeah, it'd be a problem.
I think you should be allowed to bet on your team, not against your team, because it'll make you try harder.
Yeah, and sign them up for all the sports books.
Yeah, so
and the sports books can control what you can bet on.
Yeah.
Would you like to place $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 bet on your team? That's the only bet that is in the sports book for him. You're right, Tone.
That'd be sweet.
I mean, he bet against the Jags, the Lions, a bunch of other.
Did he use his own name and his own account?
That's how they found him. So there was a service that the NFL employed that basically tracks all of the sports books, who signs up, and if it's an NFL roster player, they find it, ding it, send it to the NFL. Boom. We learned.
So he could have just had a buddy. He could have had a buddy do it for him.
Definitely. Yes, which nobody is doing.
No. Wouldn't even think to do that.
Nobody is doing that. For the good of the game.
That's right. Happened to Miles Austin.
Can't be happening.
Oh yeah,
The Jets wide receiver.
When he was coaching.
Yeah, he's doing it from
Wasn't
the
even
team
football
facility.
either, was it?
He got fired, right?
Yeah, he's betting on like the MLS or something.
Exactly.
I guess I see.
Cricket.
They can't let any of it go.
Bernie
Can't let any of it go.
Kosar was calling the games on the radio for the Browns. Placed a bet.
Oh yeah,
Gone.
Yeah, you can't be
Probably the first bet
associated.
he's placed.
You can't be associated with the NFL and be associated at all with a sports book.
Okay.
We've learned that through multiple situations. That's the NFL stance right now. Strictly because the NFL is rigged is a real thing being talked about. But if that becomes a mainstream conversation where legitimate people are saying it, that's not good for the league. That's really the only thing that could probably slow down the NFL at this point.
Yeah.
Games are rigged.
Yeah, that's one of the only things that I think could. But what if the NFL tries to start their own sports book?
NFL Plus.
They make their own rules anyway, right? They could figure it out.
NFL bets.
Probably just easier to just take a shitload of money
Yeah.
from all these other sports books.
Yeah. Probably.
Not as much of a headache.
They would get a lot of skins.
Got to open your books, though.
Kind of like the young bull, old bull.
Licenses in each state is what Connor was talking about. Yeah, do you want to run down the hill or walk down the hill? Great question, AJ. Let's get to a break. We got Dr. David Chow on the other side.
Let's go.
First time on the show. He was with the Chargers, I think, for like 17 years.
Hell yeah.
He's performed over 18,000 surgeries.
A lot of surgeries.
20 combines. Knows a lot about the NBA, MLB, WWE, the Olympics. Feels like this is the guy to talk to when it comes to injuries. I'm not 100% sure what we'll dive into, but injuries will be the topic.
Hell yeah.
Be a friend, tell a friend, take 5. Let me tell a tale about this little blue can. Inside there's a nectar love from here to Japan. It's a vibe, it's a time, ice cold over with lime. So sublime.
This shit is divine.
It's the beer of choice when you wanna rejoice. Hey yo boys, what's the noise? Hey yo boys, what's the noise? Well, us and Bud Light have made it official. We bring the stoogery, they bring delish. Feels like a genie just granted us a wish. Cause for all of us, it was love at first sip. Now be a bud, tell a bud to grab some Bud Lights. Go and Drizzly Code is what? $5 off tonight. Go and Drizzly Code is what? $5 off tonight. Cause if you're living life right and you're drinking Bud Light and you wake up in the morning and you fight the good fight, then you're doing A-okay, doing A-okay. Matter of fact, you're doing great no matter what they say. Now, be a bud, tell a bud to grab some Bud Lights. Go and Drizzly Code is wide, $5 off tonight. $5 off tonight.
Wide.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man with the dog mentality, Paisano, Coach Sirianni. You're fucking awesome, dude. Did you ever feel any pressure that you were going to have to change and adapt to being a head coach and speaking in the same bullshit ways that every other head coach talks in?
Some of the best advice I got was be yourself, because if you're not yourself, everyone's going to see through it.
The messaging is the same. You're just doing it in your own way. And I think that's the most important part. And being authentic, you're 100% right. As you were saying, if I wasn't me, everybody would tell the fucking locker room immediately going to be like, well, this guy, he's a stooge. There's another coach that wants to talk to you. Coach Sirianni, your question for Coach Sirianni.
I feel like I know you just as good as I know myself.
What is it about Jalen, you think, from your point of view, last year to this year, that is like cementing him as a guy that people are talking about? This motherfucker might win the MVP.
Well, I know which one thing you want me to say. He's a dog.
Yeah! Yeah!
He's a dog!
Yeah! Fucking dog!
Do you maybe want to play best 2 out of 3, rock, paper, scissors, coach versus coach?
You're there forever, huh? Like, you have to have that mindset as the head coach. Like, do you feel like you're the perfect head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles? Because it feels like the team is the perfect representative of the city of Philadelphia. And I might be wrong. I'm from Pittsburgh, so the Johns are going to judge me for that.
I love the passion of the city and how much they care about football, because I care about football. I love football. I don't have a lot of hobbies. My biggest hobby is football.
Rock, paper, scissors,
scissors,
shoot.
What you got?
Scissors.
Yeah, the same person. We both threw scissors.
Dog mentality really is to be in the moment that you're in now and not worry about what happened in the past, not worry about what's going to happen in the future. It's all about our process and about being here today to make sure we're about to go 1-0 this week. That's it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, rough.
I definitely got Jason Kelsey the kegs of beer. I was just trying to sweeten the deal of him coming back. As long as I'm the football coach here, I want him here, so I'm ready to give as many kegs of beer to him next year and the year after that and the year after that because that guy is a dog.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Same man.
We are getting our ass kicked in this preseason game. Belichick is taking it to us. It's halftime, and we are getting booed like you've never been. I was like,
paper,
rock, paper,
scissors,
shoot.
Oh, I think you might have rock there, but hey.
You got no idea what I'm going to do because you're like, there's no way he's throwing scissors again. Come on, baby. I got a damn flower thrown at me. Right? A flower chucked down. We lost to the Chargers. Boom, flower chucked down.
Hey, how's your little manure settling in? That's literally what that John said as they were throwing that John at you. They were like, how's the manure and how's the flowers coming, coach?
Hey, this is game 7 here. Rock, paper,
scissors, shoot.
Scissors again. He threw scissors again, so did I. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! You guys are the same. Come on, hey, this is for 15 or 10.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! Dog mentality.
I got dog mentality, coach. What can I tell you?
Hey, look it. Weedman's so active. Oh, look at this. Body slam. Body slammy, Sammy Zayn. Weedman used to kick himself in the face. Are you kidding me? Now he's body slamming Sammy Zayn. The great Pat McAfee is joining us now. Absolute honor to be here. One of the biggest days of my life comes in a state where everything's bigger. Wore my biggest belt buckle. Show my respect. Texas. That's the dirtiest shoe I've ever seen chugged out of Reese. That guy is a stallion. Can I just take a moment here? Yeah, this is your moment. That cow is glorious. Wait, is that a cow?
Let's go win this thing, huh?
Where'd you get that jacket, man? I gotta get one.
You can have this one. The best coach in the country. There's some good meat in my mouth right now. Been miserable to watch. We're talking grass grow, paint dry. I'm gonna talk about this on my deathbed. It's an honor to be with you guys. I can't hear a word he's saying, coach.
Hey,
What?
let's go.
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Boston
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this Overreaction Monday, March 6, 2023, Hour 3 starts right now. Dead! I don't know if I like that.
Yeah,
what are you saying, dead?
Dead,
Yeah, because it's the beginning of massacre season.
People are getting cut.
You know what I mean? A lot of people getting cut. Derrick Henry is allegedly being shopped.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Robinson's allegedly being shopped. Jalen Ramsey's allegedly being shopped. Players are getting cut because they're cap casualties. The NFL has until March 15th to get under the salary cap that has been designated at 20.
Yeah, 220.
220, $220 million. You're going to see a lot of moves, and you're going to see a lot of vets get moved and released as the NFL tries to play a little salary cap gymnastics in every single city. Franchise tag deadline is mañana, so we're going to keep an eye on that. That's AJ Hawk. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. One half of the...
Interesting enough, the salary cap is $224 million.
That's what time it is
How
right
about
now.
that?
That's
Holy
why we
shit.
delayed the start of the third hour till
How
now.
about that?
People always wonder why the show works. It's because we have the forethought to do stuff like that. Tone Diggs is here, and joining us now is a man who's in the NFL for over 17 years, has over 18,000 surgeries to his name. He's worked not only with the Chargers, with the WWE, the U.S. Olympic Committee, in the NBA, the MLB, and has been to over 20 combines. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. David Chow.
Yeah, Doctor!
Doc, what's up?
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
Doc, listen, I'm a fan of your work, okay? I think you're an incredibly good guy. I listen to what you say at Pro Football Doc. The only reason I haven't had you on is because, and I guess I was wrong in thinking this, were you the guy that stabbed Tyrod Taylor with a golf tee and then had Justin Herbert start? And I've always been scared to have you on because I would have to talk about that. I just learned that that was not you.
Well, I mean, look, that was Los Angeles Chargers. I'm in San Diego. I quote stabbed over 100 different Chargers, including Phillip Rivers, dozens of times, and he's let me talk about it. Thankfully, his stabs did not involve his lungs. But rib blocks are a common thing that happens. No, that wasn't me. But I actually, on my podcast, kind of broke the news on that because we're watching from our war room that day, and all of a sudden, no Tyrod Taylor, here's Justin Herbert. We saw the medical doctor, then we saw reports of him being in the hospital, and we Quincy put it together that, he was on the injury report for a rib, all of a sudden last minute. We actually sort of broke the news on it, but then, of course, your guy, Rap Sheet, and then Schefter exploded the news. But we do injury analysis, not injury reporting.
Okay, or stabbing with golf tees.
Right.
Which I should have done more research. I always, and this is going to sound weird, but I've always wanted to protect you almost by not having you on the program because I am a fan of your work. Our people, though, if you come on and I don't ask about that, going to call me a coward. I do ask about that, and you are the guy. Your social media life is going to be vastly different. Wasn't you? Okay.
There you go, Doc. It wasn't me. But I've injected my fair share of ribs over time and done rib blocks, and I get the peril, and I feel bad for the doctor. And actually, when I wrote about and reported it, I made a point of not putting his name out there so that he
looking out for other doctors. We know how it works. You're a good man. Let's dive into this a little bit. The initial report out of Rap Sheet was that there was a pain tolerance test, standard pain tolerance test that was offered up for an offensive lineman, and then it created an injury, and then he was sore and he wasn't able to do his thing. Then Ian Rapoport had to create an NFL spokesperson, he says, is clarifying my use of the term pain tolerance test, saying there is no pain tolerance test. The player underwent a typical physical exam. So that person literally said, Ian, you like it around here? What is this? How did he get confused with that? What could that potentially be? And what is the standard physical test at the Combine, Dr. David Chow, who's been to 20 of them, worked his 17 plus years?
Look, there's no question that there's no such thing medically as a pain tolerance test. Are there, quote, pain tests? Sure. Are you tender here? Are you sore here as part of the exam? But it's not like pressing on a body part and can you stand it? Are there tolerance tests? Yes. Is your knee stable? Is your ankle stable? Does your shoulder go all the way out this way? And do you feel some pain or soreness or it being loose? Can you tolerate certain things? This had to be a non-medical person that linked the two. Not Rap Sheet. We love Rap Sheet. He's my guy. He's your guy. We love Rap Sheet. But
he's not Aaron's guy.
It's agents somehow, a lay person linking the two as pain tolerance. No, there's tolerance testing. There's some, quote, tenderness testing. But look at this objectively, Pat. Look, these are doctors examining people. This is not the Incredible Hulk with big green hands pulling on someone's ankle. Look, in the football world, you got position players in general, and outside of Pat McAfee, you got punters and kickers, right? And then doctors are like down here, right? In terms of strength and what how are 32 doctors, even if you pull on someone's ankle and hurt anybody? The force of a 6'5", 308-pound guy landing on his ankle in a pass set is much greater than any doctor pulling. And the only way it could have done something, and I'm not saying that anything was wrong with his ankle, but there was one case, Tyler Croft in 2015 talked about it. And he said his ankle was aggravated by the exam. Well, he came in with a high ankle sprain, 10-week timeline for return. It was 6 weeks at the combine. He let people examine and tweak on his ankle, and he said the next day it was more sore. But that was a pre-existing injury. So if for a normal ankle to happen, it doesn't happen. And let me say this, and hopefully I'm not over my skis here. I think I'm going to say this because this pain tolerance thing is just ridiculous. I mean, I'm Chinese, so I can say this, but no doctors are taking bamboo shoots into people's fingernails and seeing how long you can stand the pain. It's just not what happens there. So I find some of the offshoot of this a little bit ridiculous.
Okay, thank you for clarifying everything that you just clarified. We from the beginning all the way to the end. What is that? And AJ has a question for you before the bounce home. Isn't there a bounce home that could potentially happen? Is that a
yes in a knee test? Let's say if there's a loose body or a meniscus, a bounce home test, and so does that hurt? Like, do you feel pain? Not how much pain can you stand? That's what I mean.
Oh, gotcha.
That's for tenderness and soreness, no question.
They gave me one time, and I don't know what it told them, but it hurt like a motherfucker. It just hurt. I'm like, yeah, hurts like hell, whatever you just did. Okay, good. I'm like, oh, good.
What? Not really.
I feel like just hyperextending my leg there. Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
Well, the answer is no. If they ask you, does this hurt? The answer is always no. I feel like at the combine, no question.
No, yeah, I was already in the league. Yeah, already in.
You're already in the league, so yeah, of course. But Doc, when you guys, like the doctors examine all these players, I know most doctors, they give a certain grade to each player depending on how healthy they may be. Can you explain what that might be?
I was in college actually.
Each team has different grading systems, just like each GM and scout has different grading systems, and you don't always agree. One team may say grade a guy higher medically or lower medically. It's somewhat subjective despite all the medical testing that's out there. This is why teams send their own medical staff to get their own grades.
Okay, so whenever you look at a guy who missed a couple games, right, last year for USC in Voorhees, then he tears his ACL doing a pointless drill in every offensive lineman's, is that grade what? Like alarm? Like how do you grade that? And what is the messaging that team doctor has to give to actual decision makers? And are they basically all the same?
Well, the messaging is very customized, right? Obviously, unfortunate for this kid.
Sucks.
He tore his ACL, so he's headed for surgery. And what I would tell a team if I were still in the league is obviously he fails a physical right now, but that doesn't make him undraftable. Look, he can be fixed and come back. Maybe not this season, more likely next season. Jeffrey Simmons with the Titans tore his ACL during training, and we panned him at Sports Injury Central saying he isn't going to be ready for the start of the season. But the Titans, he dropped in the first round. The Titans picked him. He's fine now, and he looks like a pretty good draft pick. So it doesn't mean you're undraftable. And by the way, injuries happen every year at the combines. Unfortunately, every other year someone tears their pec in the bench press. Look, last year in Pro Day, David Ojabo tore his Achilles. Oh, yeah. I mean, these are big men doing high-speed activities, and unfortunate things do happen.
So, Doc, you're incredible, by the way, at what you do here. I'm really appreciating, your conversation that we're currently having. I think we were talking to Brett Veach. And AQ Shipley asked him a question about an offensive lineman who maybe had a couple red flags for some medical people, but then Veach sent it to a doctor and was like, what do you think? And Veach actually said, I'm sending it just thinking this guy's going to say, do not draft, keep moving. And he actually came back and was like, I think if we're able to do this, this, and this, we'll be able to handle it. We'll be able to manage it. Are there teams that are known to have, I don't know how to say it, more confident doctors in being able to fix problems? And is there some teams that are ultra conservative? How do they get chosen? And is there any of that type of reputation around the NFL?
For me, knowing who the doctors are in the league personally and having been at the combines, I have an idea of what the different doctors are like. But for the average,
are they just a better doctor? Are the people that are more conservative, do they care more? Or the people that are a little bit more risky with their results, are they better doctors in their minds? How does that even, you know what I mean? How do you even have a difference of opinion on these things?
Well, how do you have a difference of opinion on who the number one quarterback is or the number one draft pick is or who you should select? Differences of opinions happen, and it happens in medicine too. I look at it this way. When we're in medicine taking care of these athletes like you guys, Pat and AJ here, you're driving an Indy car, right? And it's race cars. You guys are race car guys. Any driver can go 200 plus miles an hour on a straightaway. Any doctor can say, smooth sailing, let's go. Anybody can make it through a turn by going slow enough. But the key is in NFL sports medicine, if you want to be successful, is to know when the straightaway is ending, better slow down here, or when the curve is ending, better hit it to hit the ground running. So it's to know what's happening in the whole situation. And it's not a cut and dry formula like look at Patrick Mahomes, high ankle sprain. You're out 4 weeks, 6 weeks. At Sports Injury Central, we said this dog's going to play through because he throws off platform anyways, unlike other people. And so he's going to be able to compensate for not putting that back foot into the ground. So that's what we do at Sports Injury Central. And honestly, it has to do with why you guys are so successful. You guys were there on the field. Well, as a doctor, myself and the other doctors for what we do, were in the room when it happened, right? On the other side of this, we were at combines. We graded people. We did all this stuff. We got people back.
There's a lot of people that want to be in the room where it happened. You know what I mean? A lot of people. Just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, I believe. I'm cultured. I've seen it. I know what we're doing right here with Hamilton. Also, shout out to IndyCar. The first race of the season was yesterday. Graham Rahal, 6th place. Erickson, I believe, with a winner. He was Indy 500 winner last year. Dixon in 2nd place. A great IndyCar. Hey, Doc, you're having a great... Hey,
go, Doc.
Doc, you're rolling right now, Doc. You're rolling. Tone Diggs has a question for you.
Doc, so the situation with Brock Purdy, he was supposed to have surgery. There was still inflammation. Now they're going to try to have surgery again. That injury, is that a Tommy John injury? Is that similar to the surgery that Ben Roethlisberger had? What do you think's going on with Brock Purdy?
There's no question it's surgery on the Tommy John ligament. Is it classic Tommy John surgery with the reconstruction? We don't know yet. It hasn't happened. We hope not. We hope it's more Big Ben repair. Look, at the Super Bowl and where I saw you guys a little bit there, you guys were swamped and busy always, so no big hello other than a wave. But I was saying there, this Brock Purdy thing, he could be ready by week 1. But there was no guarantee he was going to be ready by week 1. And how do you project a return timeline when at Radio Row, he hadn't even seen the doctor yet? When he finally saw the doctor who was going to do the surgery, the timeline got pushed back. And now I think people see this is going to be tough, the 49ers, to count on Brock Purdy right now.
Why was that swollen this far after the season? Is that normal, or is it because he threw a little bit after he injured it? What happened there? He slept on it wrong? Why was that thing delayed yet again to this week, I believe? This Wednesday.
It's my belief, and he is going to have surgery at the end of this week. It's my belief that it wasn't so much the swelling, it was the loss of range of motion because of the swelling. And one of the tenets of this Tommy John family of surgeries, whether it's true Tommy John or Tommy John repair, is you want to have full range of motion of the elbow. Just like when you do an ACL, you want to have full range of motion. That's why the doctor chose to wait a little bit.
So it wasn't swelling? It wasn't swelling of it? Because that was the report.
No. Yeah. Because of there's no question there's swelling because there's torn tissue. The ulnar collateral ligament is torn. So there is some swelling. But it's the range of motion, I think, that he didn't have in addition to the swelling that led for the small delay.
Normal to have the swelling, not normal to have the lack of range of motion whenever a surgery's already been scheduled?
Well, the goal is to come in with normal range of motion, and it gives you the best chance of retaining normal motion, which is important for a throwing elbow quarterback.
Interesting.
Doc, what about all this grass and field turf situation going on? We see the players trying to band together, try to get grass everywhere in all the stadiums. They say, hey, the soccer teams can all do it. Why can't we do it? What do you see when you look at the numbers when it comes to injuries with grass compared to some of this turf?
Well, there's no question the better the footing, the more your foot sticks, the faster, the better you can cut, but the higher the potential injuries. It's like a ski binding. If you're a professional ski racer, you crank that binding tight, but if you're a beginner, you leave it loose so your knee can pop out and you don't get hurt. The problem is grass is slicker, which is better, but statistics show it's about one major knee ligament injury a season, and it's half grass, half turf right now in the NFL.
What would you do? You'd make it all grass?
I'd be love to have that problem to be a billionaire, and yeah, I'd probably make it. Look, I'm just glad I can make my backyard grass. That's all I'm worried about.
Amen. Hell yeah. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Doc, one of the bigger conversations this year around injuries was the Tua situation, obviously, with the concussions. You obviously are an analyst of the injuries. Did you know on that first, play where there was a back injury or a concussion, and then there's kind of that mix-up with the whole thing? And then also, what is your thought around the unaffiliated neurological consultants each team has?
Well, first of all, each team has 3 of them, right? One in the booth, one on each sideline. As far as real time, when Tua had that, quote, back issue, when I saw him go down, I said he's out. Real time Twitter from the war room, etc. I was equally surprised as everyone else that he returned to the game. I can see it being his back, but I'd love more transparency from the NFL. If a pool reporter can talk to an NFL referee after a game, like after the Super Bowl, to get the explanation of the holding call, why can't they talk to the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant or Dr. Sills and hear it immediately, say, this is what happened, it really was his back, and this is why? So I get why people are worried about it. In the big picture, Tua's had 2 documented concussions this season. A lot of people say 3. I get why you would say 3. But, Mitch Morris, center for the Bills, has had 6 total concussions in his career and has come back and continued to play. Kenny Pickett had 2 this season, has continued to play. Tight end for the Steelers, their new young tight end, has had a couple of concussions.
That's his name. He is a dog. How many's he had? Oh, Doc, I fucked it up. That's his name, Freiermuth. We all have to yell his name. Yeah. Like that's we apologize. We messed that up. That's a lot of concussions for those guys, huh, Doc? Yeah,
and look, I think one concussion, especially a bad one, is too many, and I'm not advocating it. Look, if Tua asked me, and he hasn't, what's the best thing to do for my brain? I'd say quit playing the collision sport of football. But I'd say that for everybody. But to single Tua out to say you can't play anymore, well, what about these other guys that had more? You have to take it very individually is all that I'm saying. And look, and I'm very sensitive to the CTE and concussion issue because I really consider a lot of the people in the league have been my friends, and I am worried about them.
Okay, so are we. We appreciate you so much for joining us. We need to do this again, especially because you didn't stab a guy in the lung.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean, Doc?
That's good. Anytime, my man.
Hey,
appreciate you.
You were amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. David Chow at Pro Football Dog.
Yeah, dog!
He was fantastic, AJ.
He is. He does a lot, like game day, like I think big time for betting stuff, where he will evaluate people's like who is hurt, who is not hurt, how hurt are they.
Are you talking about Sports Injury Central, pal? SIC?
Yeah, I think I am.
Had polos. He had a polo he was wearing.
The war room. He sits in the war room and watches games and like analyzes real-time injuries.
I love it. 6 concussions up there, Buffalo Bills
Mitch.
center.
That's a lot.
What are they doing in Buffalo?
You say 6 in this year?
No, just total,
career.
I think. Total.
Say.
How many's Freiermuth got?
2, I believe.
Jesus Christ.
Kenny's got 2 in 1 year.
These guys wearing helmets in Pittsburgh or what?
They changed helmets, so they're fine.
After they got one?
Well, also, they started drinking steel straight from the tap, so they'll
Boom.
be fine. Those
Liquid hot.
we don't have to worry about that.
Lava.
Let's go. If you have a phone call to make, go ahead and make it on the 5 Energy phone line, 1-833-432-3663. That's 1-833-4-DOOM. 5 Energy hotline. We will certainly answer some of those calls here in the moments. Let's wrap up some things that we do know. Derek Carr. The numbers have come out. $100 million guaranteed to be the New Orleans Saints quarterback. Congrats to him. Derek Carr gets another big-time payday as a New Orleans Saints quarterback. We are incredibly proud and happy for him. What a guy. What a run. And Stephen A. Smith's reaction after saying, I do not care. This guy's played 9 years in the NFL. He has not won a playoff game. Who cares if he goes to the New Orleans Saints? Well, the Saints care. How much? $100 million. With $60 million of that at signing. Damn. Another $10 million in year 3 vesting after year 1. Carr structures his deal to accommodate Saints caps issue. Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely, he does. Congrats to Carr. Did you expect this? I did not, but this kind of happened with Tannehill, too, a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, I did not expect these numbers seemed bigger than I thought they would be, especially since you could easily say, hey, it's a 4-year, $150 million deal. And if they don't say any of the guarantees, you're like, all right, it doesn't matter. It's probably a 1-year move on deal. But the fact that he said 100 in total guarantees, and then he said 60 at signing, and then he said 10, another 10. How does that equal 100? I don't know where the other 30s come from.
He gets $70 million effectively fully guaranteed at signing, I'd assume.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't. I don't think he put that in there as well.
And then what?
60 million signing. Either way, he's getting a ton of guaranteed money. I guess I didn't expect that much guaranteed.
So that would mean that there's $30 million next year.
After year one.
Coming guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give Ian a call. What does this mean, Ian? And I know
he said he would call back when he got the information.
He offered. I said, "Fuck off."
Okay.
Just
nice.
because of how quickly after the show it was.
After, yeah.
I can't take it anymore. You know what I mean? I can't take. He did it with the Commander's information with Carson Wentz. Literally, he's in our parking lot releasing that information about former Indianapolis Colts Carson Wentz. So, $30 million next year. Then, so it's 60 this year, 30 next year, then 10
in year 3
for that year 3. If we're reading this accurate, and guarantees, and that's the only money that matters. We'd assume that there is like Pro Bowl bonus in there. We'd assume that there's Super Bowl bonus in there, NFC Championship bonus in there, numerous escalators that'll get the extra $50 million. But that's how we get to 100, is what we're guessing.
Yeah, or even just 40 next year, right? Because 40 next year will probably be what 35 is this year.
So it says $10 million.
Vested in
year
that's not,
3.
That's not at signing.
Another $10 million in year 3.
Coming year 3 after year 1. So after he plays his first year, that $10 million becomes guaranteed. Is that what
so March 15th next year, he's due $10 million bonus for year 3.
And then next year would just be $30 million guaranteed.
Remember how he reported Aaron Rodgers' deal?
Oh yeah,
and Mahomes
versus
yeah, they did it with Mahomes and they got a pass just because I'm not really
how
sure
big the amount of money was.
Yeah, but it was 438, right? But they said 500.
Everybody, 500 million, 500 million, 500 million, 500 million. Anyways, congrats to Derek Carr.
Way to go!
Unbelievable. Good job.
What a dog.
We did not expect that.
No.
Kidding?
Florio put out a
No, I
tweet
did
that
not.
it's after going through everything. It's basically 3 years, $100 million. So 33-ish a year.
Good deal. I'll take it.
70 up front.
Congratulations, Derek. We are happy for you, pal.
Hell yeah.
That NFC South has a lot of new faces. Who will be the new crown champs? Tom Brady's doing his thing.
Hell yeah.
He said, "Let's fucking go" at the end of a video where he was hyping up Jon Jones's return to the octagon. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's the most amazing thing I've seen. Let me screen record that. Used it this morning as my motivational speech. Shout out to Tom Brady living his best life.
Oh, yeah.
He also announced an autograph signing, I believe, in Tampa Bay, and his voice is hoarse because he had such a good time at the UFC fight.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Tom, live it up, pal.
Good boy, Tom.
Enjoy it, Tom.
Tom, do your thing, Tom.
Keep going, Tom.
Hey, what was the stand-up rumor thing going around that wasn't real?
I think that was to promote the greatest roast of all time. You know, I believe a comedy. I think somebody got intel that there was some sort of comedian thing going on, and it was actually the roast that ended up getting announced later in the day. Morning was Tom Brady's trying to be a comedian. So maybe hired some writers for the roast, potentially. You know, and that led to, because it's Tom Brady, false information being leaked. Fresh out of a divorce, retirement, Tom Brady getting roasted. It should be a good one.
I think so.
People boozing.
Who's doing it? What network?
Netflix. Hopefully it's what's his
good.
face, Jeff Ross.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully he is
The roast master himself.
He's only known for one thing.
Yep.
And by this stage, for how long he's only been known for it, you would assume everybody would fucking hate him. That is not the case.
No.
He is unbelievably talented at fucking murdering people. I hope he's involved. Can't wait to see the others that are involved. Would assume there's going to be Gronk up there.
Gronky, Jules,
Peyton.
Like Shaq. He'll get all the big time. Shaq, Charles Barkley might come. You never know.
It's business, though, bro. You know, some of these
Exactly.
things.
Yeah, true.
Hopefully Giselle's there.
That's what I said.
She might
What
be.
if she
What if
roasted?
they go at each other? That'd be awesome.
She might still be down at Carnival, right?
Yeah.
She's
She
living.
could be.
With
She's
Mr.
living.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, she
living
could.
her
She
life.
might just come do jujitsu.
She's rolling.
Just she breaks out a mat and with that
Yeah,
guy
that
that had been in
guy.
Tom
Yeah.
Brady's house
Yep.
around his kids.
Yeah.
They just start rolling.
Yeah.
That'd be
Puts him in a
cool.
triangle.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Montana hits him with a football.
Per TMZ.
That Joe
Allegedly.
Montana handshake. Boy, still thinking about it.
Yeah.
top tier.
Still got the juice. His Super Bowl jersey from the whatever Super Bowl it was just sold for $1.4 million. Just shattered the old record.
Still, yeah, he's fucking Joe. What do you mean? What?
Dude, I think it's amazing. I love that people still because I value Joe Montana. I still hold him up to that level. I'm glad that the young kids are still doing.
I saw
the
a
same.
throw on the internet he made, like the highlight. Boy, oh boy, Joe could sling it.
He was a dog, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's an Italian from Western Pennsylvania.
Some
pal.
people forget these children these days.
Dan Orlovsky left him off his top 5.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Dan's a mark.
Dan is a mark. Who was calling us a mark? AQ.
AQ. We're all football marks.
You guys enjoyed watching him throw, didn't you?
He did say
Yeah, we did, AQ.
we did actually.
Football.
What's wrong with
Ian
that?
just called. Let's answer that. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a guy who can break every piece of information in every news article the NFL has moments after exiting our show every fucking time. Ian Rapoport.
Hi, guys.
Ian.
You know, I'll say this. Right after. With all apologies to my great sources, some of them watch your show. For instance, I had a high-ranking source reach out to me before and say, I hope you got coffee, which I thought was very nice. Sometimes people think it's funny to not break news on your show. I just wanted to make sure I'm available to the people to explain what the Derek Carr numbers actually mean, since I know the meaning is important.
Thank you for being such a hero, Ian. Honestly, you know what? You're right. That's what we should have been thinking about. Into the sources, come on. What's the deal? Let's send the info a little bit earlier. You know, he comes on every Monday. We do appreciate you watching. Let's start talking about this. $100 million in guarantees, $150 in total, $60 at signing, another $10 after 1 year. That's pushed to year 3. So that's $70 million in guarantees, and then year 2 is worth $30 million. Did we get that? Did we get that right? Pretty much.
Yeah. So here's the best way to look at this. It is with all the numbers, the most important numbers, 2-year deal for $70 million. That is the most important. So the way it's structured, it's going to be, I believe, 30 and 30. So it's going to be 2 years, 60, and then an additional 10 is going to be guaranteed in year 3 that he's definitely getting once he makes it past year 1. So unless they cut him after 1 year, 60 million, which would be crazy, he's getting 2 years, 70 million with 10 of that a year after. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
so let's say he plays 2 years and is cut.
How's it 100?
What's that?
AJ just asked it. How's it 100 then? It's a 70.
That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed for injury. So if he sustains an injury that forces him to never play again, God forbid, knock on whatever, then he gets 100 guaranteed.
Got it. So it's 2 years, $70 million in total if he was to make it to year 2 as a New Orleans Saint.
Correct. And it's interesting because, like, you know, you sort of wonder, like, I remember there were these rumors like Derek Carr wants 35, and I was kind of like, it's going to be interesting to see if he gets that. And he got it. I mean, that really shows you, like, if you don't have a quarterback, you got to pay.
Congrats, Derek.
There you go, Derek.
Proud of you, buddy. You just reported, I believe, that Ingram officially franchise tagged. Anybody else officially get picked up?
Ingram got tagged. Orlando Brown not tagged.
Come to Indy.
Whoa.
We need a tackle.
I mean, I would say there's a lot of people right now, like, franchise left tackles almost never become available. Now, he could re-sign in Kansas City. He likes it there. They're going to keep working.
Loves it.
But he's going to the open market. So, like, let's say you're a team like, I don't know, I'll just throw out a random team, the Chicago Bears, who have Ryan Poles, who used to be in Kansas City, who have a lot of cap space and who need offensive line help. Would potentially be able to make a lot of money from one of those teams, I would say.
Congratulations to the Bears getting a dog, it sounds like.
Oh.
He did talk highly of Kansas City, though, and how much he appreciates it. That holds weight, it seems like, whenever we were talking to Orlando. We appreciate the hell out of you, Ian. You're the man. Good luck on TV, pal.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Baby rap sheet.
What the hell?
Can't wait to see what he breaks.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's wait.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. Give it a minute.
So 2 years, 70 for sure. We know.
Sounds like, unless it's 1 year, 60.
Makes him the ninth.
That seems nuts, but
yeah, it's absurd. We also forgot Josh Jacobs got franchise tagged already as well.
By the Raiders.
Just remembered that. Yeah.
All right, check Ian's Twitter. I think we've waited long enough.
Yeah, 20 seconds.
Should be some sort of news there. Let's go to the 5 Energy phone line. Let's go to Morgan in California. Morgan, what's going on?
Pat, boys, how you doing?
Keep moving. Thank you.
Right on. Hey, I just wanted to show a little love to Kurt Kitayama. Me and him come from the same hometown, as well as another guy, Aaron Rodgers. So
Chico.
Chico. The only thing coming out of Chico are absolute
dogs. Thank you, Morgan. Did you watch that at all? He had some big names on his ass, and he held tight. And then that putt on 18 was beautiful. Absolutely.
I was nervous for him. I'm sitting there watching him wind that thing. I'm like, man, that's a long-ass two-putt, and the dude basically drained it in the first shot. Yeah, how does that not fall?
How about how many times he looked at it, too? I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
This is why, they say, big-time players come alive in big-time moments. That's why they're big-time players, right? Big names are big names for a reason because in big moments, they put on big performances. Like, the names that we know are the names that we know for a reason. The names that we don't know are names that we don't know for a reason. In the way this guy was just balling. And on 18, he's in the middle of the thick stuff. Couldn't see his ball. 158 out. Takes an 8-iron, puts that thing up on the green. I'm like, okay. This guy, I thought that was I thought that ball was, because Rory did it earlier, literally in the same round. I thought that ball was gone. Like, this is when he comes back down to earth. This is when his brain, being the fucking brutal brain that it is in golf, tells him, you're not supposed to be here. And this is the reason. And boom, the ball goes the other way. Puts it on the green. Then he gets on the green. Needs a 2-putt. Easy as that. Yeah. 3-putted earlier in the round. Had a 7 earlier in the round. All you need is a 2-putt. Easy. Big left to right looping. That's all he starts overlooking, and you hear the commentator with an accent. I don't remember which one. You don't want to overthink it. And I'm like, you're right. Like, this guy 3 putts right here. This is what he's going to be remembered for forever. Yes. Like, this is it. I started getting nervous on my couch. I'm like, roll it close, bro. Just roll it close. Even though I had money on everybody else that would have been in a playoff and potentially been in there, I just saw this guy's life shattering pretty much on the 18th hole after that long ass weekend of doing everything. Golf is demanding.
Yeah.
Every single moment you got to be on there if you want to win it. And that fucking guy closed the door. I'm happy for him, man. Incredibly proud of him. And I do not know him, AJ.
That dude's life is completely different now. And isn't that one of the biggest purses in the whole
3-6.
All the events? 3-6 to win?
Yeah, to first place. And then
that's so big for the
1.8
PGA.
second.
And then I think another million.
Yeah.
One.
And I'm sure he's exempt now into a lot of stuff.
So it's $800K. But
so they split the second place purse, obviously.
Yeah. Well, second and
yeah, you get all of the combined.
You could have
however
you could have 6 people split second place.
Yeah, but then you also doesn't it split third, fourth, fifth? That whole thing.
I guess.
Right? Doesn't that all go in there? That's why they have the
they split second and third.
I also didn't like people being like, I can't believe you fucking marked that ball. Everyone always marks it so that you're the last putt so that you can celebrate.
The guy told him to.
Yeah,
Victor Hovland, his partner told him to.
Yeah.
And Hovland tried to roll it off the green.
Yeah.
That guy goes from, 3rd to 10th or something. I was watching it, and after I played on the course last week, and then Tahoe has really changed everything. And then full swing.
And pro golfer.
And PGA too. What an exhausting sport that has to be. Just exhausting. Mentally,
especially as you could feel like a Kitayama or whatever, like the pressure grows each shot he has. And then it's like, all right, here we go. I'm on 18. Imagine putting yourself in that dude's shoes.
Bro.
When all those dudes are chasing you, how tough it is to swing a golf club right there.
Walking up to 18. Just walking.
Yeah.
And they're celebrating you. And it's like, oh, biggest fucking moment of my life is coming up. Everything I just did does not matter.
Nope.
I'm getting a round of applause. You're walking there, and they're talking about him doing his deep breaths and everything. It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. He just spent 4 days of his life trying to change the trajectory of his family. And then all of a sudden now he's got a fucking 100-footer that just need a 2-putt. Which is even worse.
And because that's all he's thinking about was the 3-putt earlier in the round. Like, oh, fuck, I've already done this once today. Like, watch me do it again here. But
draining.
Yeah.
And to your point about the full swing, it's like we saw Mito Pereira go through it. Like, he's on 18, right, to win the PGA Championship, and then he doubles, and now he's in LIV because you really just don't. Sometimes
and now we'll never see him at golf again.
Yeah, exactly.
CW said that the numbers that were reported for the LIV viewers were wrong.
What?
Their viewers were triple what was viewed, they said.
Really?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a battle on numbers. Never would have guessed that with numbers as a whole in 2023.
Yeah, that's
they took the entire weekend's numbers, I believe, and added them together, something like that.
Well, people don't do that with everything else.
No.
People aren't skewing numbers and displaying them in a misleading fashion in the media world at all.
That wouldn't make sense.
Well, this week we got the players. Another.
You guys like Full Swing?
Yeah.
So
some eps.
I think there was better episodes than others, but I did enjoy the access of seeing how they live. For instance, we tried to have Jordan Spieth on this program. We were supposed to have Jordan Spieth on this program like 4 different times. And he's like canceled last minute out of nowhere. And it's like, all right, I fucking hate this guy. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like literally out of nowhere canceling last minute. I'm like, we never said it publicly. But then I watch Full Swing. I'm like, these dudes' schedules. Like,
wow.
I wouldn't be fucking signing up for anything. Like the travel, the golf, it's just like.
Imagine if you're not a top tier guy too, and you're catching Southwest flights to all these tournaments, and you got to play in these Monday like sponsor things to help your sponsor, so you can have a little thing on the right sleeve of your shirt, pay you $15,000 or something.
They are on the road every single day pretty much and doing a lot of bullshit, to your point about sponsor stuff and everything. So I think that was eye-opening, and it made me be like, oh, I'm never booking a guy.
Never booking a
I am
golfer
so
now.
sorry that we even thought that we'd be able to get 20 minutes. They got to be tired either in the middle of a nap or full go at all times. It's like, I think that is what I learned about from Full Swing that I appreciate. It's like the lifestyle of a professional golfer. I think I grossly underestimated how exhausting it would be. It has to be just full time all the time. Massive respect for all the professional golfers.
Yeah, last week they all played in that Monday Pro-Am at the Seminole, and then probably traveled Tuesday, and then Wednesday you got Pro-Am, then Thursday through Sunday is the tournament.
And then you got to travel to the next spot.
Repeat.
You got to go home.
They show up on Monday. A lot of times they show up sometimes Sunday, but the Monday before thing. So it's like it's a whole week. It's not like just what we see on TV.
That's every fucking day.
Yeah, and PGA is not helping at all with the cost of any of that.
Exactly. So if you're playing like shit, it's like some of these guys end up. It's like, oh well, fuck. I don't
Lose
even
your
want-
card.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost $250,000 over the last 5 weeks. How? I didn't make the cut. You lost money? You played it? They put you on TV? Yeah, but they changed that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
right.
some. So Liv is fixing the PGA, right?
Yes.
Big time.
Liv has made the PGA evolve, which I think we had pretty much have been saying since the beginning. Like, we like more money for athletes. And if you're going to get mad about where money's coming from for athletes, cool. We understand. We don't like that either. But let's get mad about where that money's going everywhere then, not just to athletes. Let's worry about, let's selective outrage, I believe is what Chris Rock called his special, so that he could talk about Will Smith at the very end with it, which was, interesting. But like, I think that was our angle. But then we're also like, this is going to force the PGA to get better. Like this is, and all of a sudden, like $20 million just fell out of the sky.
Yes.
As soon as here's $20 more million. Now it's like, you're going to get paid pretty much if you come golf.
And they're guaranteeing certain players are going to be at the big events too. Like they're doing things to make mandatory for these big events.
It's great for golf.
They made these elevated events, which API, Arnie Palmer Invitation, will be one of them.
Designated, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't include the 4 majors and the players. Those are still, those are what they are. But these elevated events, there won't be any cuts. So, and the top 50 and then essentially top 70 players in the world will all be playing in these, so that the sponsors are guaranteed to have all these players there, so that they're putting more money into these tournaments, which means bigger payouts for these tournaments. Also, they're taking $50 million from that basically Tiger Woods award. It was $100 million.
Performance.
Social media.
And now they're
Power Performance Index, PPI?
Yeah, PIP, I think.
So that's going from 100 to 50 million, and they're putting that 50 million back into these elevated tournaments too, so that all these players.
So congrats to golf.
Let's go.
And by the way, you're going to get more people watching if the guys are in every single week. So it's
Yeah.
like there'll be more money coming into the PGA. I got massive respect for it. I'm happy we got to this point, and it was kind of expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think in the PGA, he's been around a long time, had put on a lot of great tournaments. They zigged when they had to zig here. They've zagged when they've had to zag. They figured it out, and it seems like their members are all very proud to be a part of the PGA Tour, which is even better for all parties, especially the fans that get to watch every single weekend.
Yeah, exactly. He won't get credit for it, but this was Phil's mission the whole time, just to make
Yeah.
the PGA better.
It's actually exactly what Phil said when he went over there was, hey, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, obviously, for my family, but if I have the opportunity to, change the course of how the PGA operates, then I'm going to take it.
Whatever the case, it's better for us as fans of golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yesterday was a great reminder of that, how
Yes.
big golf is during the offseason.
That was amazing.
So sweet.
Dude, it's such a perfect fucking
Oh, yeah.
black ace. That's my pickleball paddle. just right here.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, it's just like perfect for this.
Chilling.
Well, and the way that they, like, if they go to commercial, they still do picture-in-picture now most of the time, like, when it really matters.
Play through.
Yeah, exactly.
Really very clever.
Like, it is really nice how you can kind of just sit on there all day and you're really not missing much.
So I was at a golf course this one time recently, and I ran into a couple college teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real deal, too. I guess, like, these college golfers are fucking players. Like it.
The number one player.
You got to make the choice, too. Where are you going?
So I guess there's a deal in place between seniors and the PGA where it's like it's not like Q school, but kinda.
Yeah. So they had this, I think, on the PGA Tours Instagram. The number one player in the country, I think, is at Vanderbilt, and if he wins a certain amount or something, that he doesn't go to Q school or anything.
Yeah,
like
he gets
that.
his card.
He gets his card, and he goes.
Oh, that's a good idea. Great idea.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. I was talking to this. I was talking to this one particular guy who had played, I believe, in some massive tournaments at golf courses that are very nice, and he's still in college. So I think there's like a pipeline that is trying to be created to make it more efficient.
Yes.
These dudes are players, though.
Oh, yeah.
Sticks.
Like, hey.
Yeah, there's 12-year-olds out there shooting 6 under. Yeah,
Charlie Woods.
People can play.
I didn't know about the college golf game, though, but down in the South.
Oh, yeah, big deal.
And then Big 12, they got like Oklahoma State and everything.
Texas
is very good.
That's where Jordo and Scoot went to.
Mm-hmm.
But our guy.
Our guy Akshay, though, got a card. To your point, he did not go to college. He said, I'm going to be a pro golfer. What am I wasting my time reading books for? Went into a couple different tours, and he got his card. Congrats to Akshay.
Yeah, let's go, Akshay.
And baby, Akshay. I don't know how this worked. What do you do? He just performed well enough on this particular tour?
Yeah, it's like
Special temporary membership? What's that mean?
I thought it was like 3 straight tournaments if you play and you hit a certain,
He's got to make enough money to keep going.
something.
Yeah,
He was a runner-up
got to make
at
enough money.
Puerto
I
Rico.
guess. Man, that's so hard.
Still has
You
that
got to
girlfriend.
play well.
Dude, you triple one hole.
Dead.
Yeah. See ya.
Back to the Bahamas with nobody watching, pal.
Over.
That's a tough grind, man. I thought about that $20 million you're going to give me if I make top 50 in a senior championship tour numerous times over the last couple of weeks. I don't know, buddy. That's a tough sport. Hey, it's a tough sport.
Golf is hard.
You got so much time. You got to remember that.
A lot of time.
Yeah,
Time's on my side.
Exactly.
Who knows what's going to happen by that time?
If you were to take 1 year
Exactly. And
just
commit fully to it.
just to play golf every single day.
Yeah, but when I get to
Guaranteed
this
pro.
stage of life that I'm able to commit 1 year, do I still have the
itch,
power,
drive.
the explosion, the hand-eye coordination? I don't know.
Well, hey, you look, you lose $0. The only one losing in this situation
is him.
Is AJ Hawk.
That's right.
Let's not forget.
I'm a winner because if I get to turn on the TV and I see you get top 50 in a Champions Tour event, I'm a winner too. I'm excited and happy for you.
Oh, good friend.
You said you'd be on the bag.
Oh yeah, I'll carry your bag for sure. You get in, I'm.
We'll see, but then there's a little bit of conflict of interests.
Yeah, he's definitely
you
not on
guys
the-
know. You guys know I'm a good teammate. You know that.
With his
No,
investment.
20 mil. I mean,
He's a pretty good teammate.
Yeah, you're
I'm
great.
pretty positive.
Oh, was there $20 million on the line in those pickleball games?
Should have been.
Is that-
We're
Yeah.
playing like there
I play
was.
like there is. I always play like there is.
Is that why you wouldn't let Ty hit the ball for like 2 or 3 games?
Yeah, you're
Are you
poaching up
kidding
there.
me?
You're poaching up at the net.
Backhand.
Which
You
happened
know
to
what
that.
happened.
Those videos
Poetry
there.
in motion.
Hey,
Have you
that-
seen Ty's backhand?
Hey, pickleball's got a controversy cooking, and I don't even know if they know it.
It's
There's
bad.
a lot of dudes stepping in front of other
the women.
people.
In
Yeah.
the mixed, and even in, I guess, just standard
mean?
partner
in life.
standard partner games, there's clear that playing in doubles just because you're very talented and like this guy's okay, but also I'm gonna stand right in front and every like running right in front of people and hitting. It's like,
Is that what they do?
oh yeah,
Couple guys.
The hard thing is when you watch like the high level people, you're right. And watching us play out there, scramble around and have Phil dive and roll 38 times, that's probably fun to watch. But the pros, they just stand right outside the kitchen, just dink, 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 dink all along. Like I don't know. They got to figure something out.
Well, I think pickleball is doing okay. And once again, we're very new to the sport, and we've tried to fix it a few different times, and we do apologize. But
Well, we don't really know the rules, but
We do now.
We had some
the
conversations
kitchen?
right before the show
Right there.
too. Hey, we got to get this second net up, and we just got to do it.
we just got to play.
We just got to play.
Gotta play.
yeah.
We need a bracket. We need to make a bracket.
Tape the court.
Just
tape
a
the
quick
court
tape
on.
job.
I still like Thunderdome pickleball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You mean the rules or the setup we have?
We need a bigger net.
We need a bigger net. We need to get lines down because it is a lot of.
Yeah, we need blue tape.
Bigger net. It's not. Isn't that a normal size net?
That's half net. Yeah, we're getting a painter's
Oh, it's
tape.
half.
We're getting a painter's
Oh, yeah,
tape.
that is tiny.
We're putting
The head of
down.
pickleball is also setting us a lot of things.
Who's the
Mr. Pickleball?
Or Mrs.
Pickleball
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
geez,
Fred
Paulette
Oh
Pickleball.
my God!
Excuse me,
Hope
sorry.
you're happy.
The reason I said that is strictly from watching fucking McGinn or whatever his name is. Boy, I assume
It's big
that's how
golf,
they handle it in the front office for pickleball
Tyson
too.
is a dog.
Yeah.
Tyson McGinn is a dog.
And he's not a doubles player. He's a solos player.
He's got
We
sick
saw
hair.
him play
It's
that
easy to
doubles that
see.
one time.
He's got sick hair, dude.
His serve.
Oh,
Little
Mean.
kind of goes up onto his tippy toes, give a little extra power, a little extra juice.
Hell yeah.
I bounce it when I serve it. I don't know if any
So
of
do
the
I.
pros are
Yeah,
doing that.
one bounce.
They
So do
are,
I.
but whatever.
They don't bounce.
Not very few.
No,
of
they're
them.
kind of out of the hand.
To be clear, though, when we started playing, we were all under the assumption that that's the only way to serve.
You had to fucking bounce the thing.
So we were born in the dark with the bounce serves.
Exactly.
And
I'll never go back.
there has to be some advantage to not bouncing it. Has to be.
I don't know, because from what I see, a lot of the clips, like no one really has a power serve.
They're putting it in play.
Yeah, exactly.
It's placement. It's all about being precise.
Because they have faults. Can't remember.
I assume somebody's coming in to that
With a-
game
with a power
at some
serve.
point.
Working on it right now.
Yeah. A lot of tennis players over there.
Oh yeah.
There's something called paddleball I learned of.
Yes, that's what I also
You mean like
thought
on the
was a
beach?
different version.
No,
Cages.
It's in a
It's
cage.
yeah.
I've done it. I did it once.
It's like squash with
Fun.
pickleball.
You're hitting it at
Different
people.
ball.
Like war
Different
games?
ball. The ball is like heavy
similar.
rubber ball. And it can only really be played in the winter too. It's weird. The floor was heated. It's like underneath. It's a weird platform thing. I had no idea what it was.
I met a guy named Dahn who is a living legend after talking to him. A stallion of a man. This guy, epic human. I think he was pretty high up in the paddleball world at one point. And we spent 2 to 3 holes talking about it. I was intrigued by it. I was very much you're trying to like because everything's in. It seems like, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So with power, if you hit power, it'll go. You just play it off the back fence or the side.
Like
you can play it
racquetball?
off all of that.
Yeah, but you're trying. I don't.
It's like squash with pickleball mixed together, but except you're playing against someone across from you.
I guess you are trying to hit people with it. Like you were trying to hit.
Yeah.
You know, that is a style.
Automatic point, right?
That is
there.
a style of play. Because I immediately go, oh, you just got to hit it. And Dan was like, it's kind of my thing. I was kind of, it's kind of what I was like, oh, you were hated probably by everybody. Oh, it's good strategy or whatever. Just good strategy.
You ask him, like, hey, are you worried that pickleball is definitely coming for your throat here?
I will say, after my wife did the duck pin bowling thing on my IG story, a hilarious human that was in our office that I've known since college, that was sitting right over there, goes, first pickleball, it ruins sports. Now we got fake bowling, is what he said. It was that duck pin bowling. You ever been a part of that?
Yeah, there's a place here. My son had his birthday party at one of those places.
This place was electrifying that we went to.
Pretty awesome.
That area.
It is.
It's called Pins. What was it called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Pins here.
They're
Oh,
amazing.
It's a chain.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
no, but it got started. It's from here.
There's one in
At
Pittsburgh.
least the Pins.
That's a Columbus, Ohio thing?
Really,
Yeah, the guy
Ohio
here.
making Mickey Mouse bowling.
Unless it's not called Pins. Is it called something else?
Called Pins.
Pins, yeah.
Big open, cool bar with a bunch of the bowling alleys and all that.
Bocce court, ping pong tables, duck pin
Huge,
bowling.
yeah.
One right here in Dublin's gigantic.
They got pinball. They got life-size beer
Hazardous
pong up
materials.
top. They
Free,
got-
you have free video games like old school arcade games.
not free. No, this is Indiana. Okay.
No, that's
Some of them are free
16
here, and
bit,
some of them you pay.
It's
which is
city-
owned by the same guy, AJ.
Yep, 16. But yeah, it's all here. It's all
Yeah.
from Columbus.
We need to. Hey, thank you, Columbus, and thank you to that
Thank you,
guy.
Wex.
Great
Yeah.
place. That was my first time
It is sweet.
at one of those places. First time in public, long time, like out just doing stuff in Indiana. It was a blast.
You saw the garage too, right?
Yeah, then I went across the street. Indianapolis turned this one part. It used to be a Coca-Cola factory, bottles factory, I think.
Yes.
And it had sat vacant for a long time. Bad part of town, like don't go over there. There's no reason to go over there. They fully invested in it. There's a hotel in there. There's a bunch of restaurants in there. It's like a full lunch hall almost, but it's set up in like and it's right across the street from that Pins place. It was a spectacular little Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Out here in Indianapolis, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, those. Do you you ever do the axe throwing deal? I've never been there and done that.
No, they had the fouling though. The football bowling had a
Yeah.
place down in that
yeah.
area that we could.
They have a bad axe throwing down there now too. I think.
in that area.
I think right next to the fouling, It's like the football cornhole.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Football or bowling.
Football bowling.
Fouling.
Okay.
Foaling, I guess.
Oh,
Is that fun? Never done it before.
bowling.
I've never done it. That
Never
place
seen
invited us like 100 times to go, and I was always like, I'm not doing any Mickey Mouse stuff. I go one day off.
sense.
I'm not doing that.
Axe throwing sucks.
Really?
The one we had in our old office with the small axes, that's fucking awesome. 'Cause you can throw those about 100 miles an hour. You go into these axe throwing things, and people have them over their head. They're throwing them 2 miles an hour. That thing sucks.
Then you got to pick it up off the ground.
Yeah, no thanks.
But you get one on good content.
Yeah, but like the one we had in the old office, like that was fun. I could sit there and throw those fucking axes all day.
A lot of liability in that particular
Lot of it.
A
Lot of it.
lot of liability. You're not always hitting that. And to get back to the foaling thing, I said it looked terrible. I'm not going to spend my 14 minutes I have off every week doing that. It did look like a good time. Drove by, it had doors open. People were having a blast.
If you
There's
can swing a
music.
football, it's fun.
Yeah, there's
It looks sweet.
Yeah, food, music playing. Indianapolis really doing it down there.
Best part of the city right there. There's also a movie theater that's brand new. I guess it's like one of those luxury ones right next door to where we were.
Okay, Indy.
Doing it. They're building that golf simulator bar. Because, like, the thing about the BottleWorks, the thing about BottleWorks at this suite is that you can start there at pins, and then you just walk down Mass Ave.
Yeah.
And now that they're building the golf simulator bar, that's kind of where you could end.
Yeah, I mean, every city has its like, hey, this block good, that block not so good. We're back to a good block, you know?
Yeah.
That's a large area that's coming together, it
Exactly.
seems like.
Just one street.
Let's go, Indy. Good luck. Good.
Keep it
Way
going.
to go out there. We appreciate whoever put that together.
And now,
Let's do another phone call here on the 5 Energy phone line. Let's go to GC in Miami. GC, what's going on, pal?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? I just wanted you guys, I don't know if you guys can pull it up, but Justin Turner from the Boston Red Sox just got really, really hit really bad. It's the second time that he gets hit like that, so I just wanted you guys to know and see if you guys can pull it up.
What happened, GC?
So I guess they're playing. I can't remember right now what team they were playing. The Tigers. He just pretty much I think went straight to the face.
Good.
Oh, no thanks.
Oh, no.
You say it a second time?
That's
this guy's problem.
Oh, jeez.
He had sunglasses on, too. That's going to...
Not Turner.
Yeah.
Thank you, GC, for the heads up
Can't
in the
show it?
baseball world. I don't think we have baseball rights.
He was supposed to save the Red Sox.
I'm not
this
100%
year.
sure. I don't think...
Baseball's very strict, too.
It's not worth it.
I don't
damn
think...
it.
He took one right to the front of his face?
Right here. Look like right under the bill. He even had the little cheek thing on. Sunglasses, cheek thing, bill right here underneath of it. Broke the glasses, obviously, right in the face. That ball was humming, though. Hey, Tiger's got a guy that can throw it. Has no idea where it's going.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Tigers stink.
Hey, we hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, all love down there. Much monos.
That'd be a huge loss for the Red Sox.
That would hurt so bad.
Let's go to so bad. I guess that's the fear when you step into a batter's box that thing could hit you.
Yeah.
The pitcher, too,
In the
though.
head,
the
yeah.
pitcher's fear, too. It coming right back at him.
I mean, you wanted the back. It hurts for a
Field
little
position,
bit,
AJ.
Hey, we're a big baseball program.
Yeah.
Love baseball. I had Jet on last week.
You know Herb Street has the most hits in Centerville High School history or
Yeah,
something?
highest batting average. The guy who almost broke it, Sean Murphy, is a very good catcher. Plays for the Braves. Just got traded from the A's. Won the Gold Glove last year. He's
Won a Gold Glove, this guy?
Yeah.
Couldn't catch Herbie, though.
Nope.
Uh-uh.
Apparently not.
What, was the baseballs bigger when Herbie was playing, or does this guy miss his calling? What the fuck are we doing here, AJ?
Herbie's an all-around athlete, man. I don't know if he played basketball in high school, but he played baseball and football, obviously.
Herbie!
Oh,
Hey, he's a dog, dude. Doesn't get talked about.
He should do some like home run derby deals, like some of those celebrity ones. I bet he would blast the ball.
And I bet he'd be able to get a lot of people to come to a
Yeah.
celebrity home run derby for, and then if he wins it,
Oh, man.
it's even better. JJ used to do that, right? JJ Watt used to do the softball game down at the Houston Astros Stadium. They used to like sell that fucking thing out, and then they would do a home run derby beforehand. And JJ had all eyes on winning that thing every single time. He used to just murder those baseballs. Those are a good time. Getting a chance to hit. BP is like a
lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a good time, I think. You don't really get to do it that much, though,
That's
right?
what I said. I mean, it'd be. I've been looking for like just batting cages around here to go. Like if we got a cage outside, that would be fucking awesome.
Here?
Yeah.
Can we get one? Can we make one?
It's not
pretty
that hard,
easy,
actually.
actually.
Oh yeah.
Just tubing and netting.
That's all it is. Get
All
a
right,
little
let's do
machine.
it.
Machines
I'm in.
aren't even crazy. Machines aren't even that expensive.
No.
Pitching machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Get the arm. Get the arm. Get the one that actually has the little arm though.
Nah. You know
I want a face too because I would like to
hit him.
Yeah, I want a fake face there.
Line it right at it.
Hardest part's probably just putting the dirt in if you want dirt.
Don't need dirt.
Buy dirt.
For what?
Jordan Davis. I've been listening to a lot of his songs.
Yeah.
Got bangers.
He's up for best lyrics or something like that. Makes sense.
The CMAs?
I think so.
Let's go.
Good for him.
The Buy Dirt's a banger.
Let's wait till he wins.
Good
I don't want to celebrate too early.
Good call.
Buy Dirt's a banger.
It is a banger.
How about Next Thing You Know? Have you heard that one?
No, I just went through his top 5. Is that in the top 5?
Yeah. Next Thing You Know is another one. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you're in that. Next thing you know, it's like an emotional. It's like,
Like
have a
Journey Through
baby.
Life.
Yeah, like you meet,
Yeah.
get married, have a baby. Baby
cool.
joins. Like,
Next thing you know, you're dead.
what's your problem, AJ? It sounded very condescending.
I'm dead serious. It's cool. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it sounds cool.
Sounds like you're taking some liberties that I don't appreciate here, pal, with how you're taking it.
You're a prick.
It's got a lot
I don't know much about this artist, but sounds great.
To be clear, I did not either.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you get to know through lyrics, it's like, oh, good brain, good guy here, seems like.
You go to country concerts, AJ?
I have. I'm not a giant country fan, but I have been.
Going one soon or no?
Why? Who's coming?
To Ohio?
Come on, you know.
Yeah, who's coming to Ohio?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, we did hear that you were, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, my God. Haven't even asked
Whatever's
you about
going on, I'd love to know. What's happening?
You're going to a concert, I heard, in Ohio, country one.
I'm not, but yeah, what'd you hear?
Okay, well, that's the answer.
Yep.
All right, we will relay the message then because we were asked by
Morgan Wallen's coming at some point.
Hey, he's got a song called Ain't That Some Shit. You know, he's got a new album out, I guess, that's just going to take over the whole world. Quite an interesting.
Yeah, he's
had quite
doing
the path.
just fine now after.
Actually, there's a race car driver whose path has been very similar to his.
It's a wild time to be alive.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Mitt like that.
Mitt loved
Big
that
pop
one,
out of
yep.
Mitt. Big pop
Is
out
that
of
what
Mitt.
that was?
Yeah.
Let's go to Sam in Phoenix. Last call of the day. Last moment of the day. Sam, what's going on the 500 phone line?
How we doing, boys?
Keep moving, dude.
All right. First and foremost, just want to say, Pat, me and my wife and my little 4-month-old, we are super stoked for you. Congrats on the upcoming baby.
Thank you. Congrats to your babies, boys.
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then football related, I just want to say I think I speak for a lot of Cardinals fans when even though, Gannon, he's going to be a little cheesy, he actually gives off some football coach vibes, which we need out here. So it's nice to have a real coach, not some pretty boy who doesn't know what the
Oh! Jesus.
Good luck, Cliff.
Cliff Kingsbury taking shots on this Monday, March 6th. Explosives, creativity.
Right.
Let's get the fuck out of here. What a show. Can't thank you guys enough. Talks the table. Great work today, boys.
Great show today. Hey, we didn't talk about one thing. I saw you tweet about last night.
What's that?
Last of Us heating up here.
Hey, it's a good show, dude. You watch the show?
I think I do. I'm a couple. How many episodes have been out so far?
8.
8 was last night.
I think I've seen 5 or 6. So good. I have a couple to watch.
You can skip last week's. We'll get last week's. We'll just kind of break it down for you. Just proved when she found out that she was special. That isn't like
that's it.
That isn't a spoiler either.
No, you did that very well.
That isn't a spoiler either. Like that was the whole episode was kind of dedicated to that. It was cute. It was cool. But only objective was to show when she found out that she was special. So if you haven't watched it, that's not a spoiler. If you have watched it, that's not a spoiler. No. Last night's episode, hey.
Okay.
Hey, she's a dog, bro.
One of the best.
She is a dog. It was
You
great.
can tell that already. Already early on, she's proven that a few times.
Yeah, it is remarkable. And then they had the inside the episode at the end of the thing, and I stuck around to watch it. And they talked about they filmed it in Calgary in February. It was freezing.
Huge wind machine.
And she gave an answer, and she was I guess she was speaking our words, but it wasn't our language.
No.
She is not naturally a United States speaker. Like,
where's she from?
I have no idea.
England.
England. That was an English accent, I
Oh
heard?
yeah. I don't know what part, but yeah, she's very, very English.
Manchester.
Maybe where Patty Batty's from?
Liverpool?
No, she wasn't saying loud after every word. So.
She is phenomenal. As is, what's the
Pedro Pascal.
Pascal.
His other show just started too.
He doesn't miss.
Mandalorian crushed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe I get into that next.
Nah,
Probably
Star
not.
Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Star
You
Wars
would not.
garbage.
But the Last of Us video game, I'm not a person that plays video games. You would think I would hate it. Zombies, you think I would hate it. This show is fucking awesome.
Random thing too. Last episode, the guy who originally played Joel in the video games was in the episode. So it's a little.
Oh, little how you doing? Little
that's
tip of the
Easter
cap.
egg.
Bella
didn't know
Ramsey
that.
she's from Nottingham.
Nottingham? Of course she is. Whatever she is, she's going to win whatever award that you need to win for
Oh,
what
yeah.
she's doing in this thing, I'd assume.
Probably a safe assumption. Yeah, she'll at least be nominated. You'd think.
It was it's amazing, though, AJ. I'm happy we found something, and then after next week, it's the season finale. And then what, AJ? Then what?
Then what?
Ooh, Succession, right?
Come on.
We got golf, we got basketball, we got March Madness coming up. Ty, big weekend for college
Yeah,
basketball.
huge
What happened?
weekend. I'd love to run over everything the Coke Zero got on my notes, so I had to throw those away. But we got 5 teams that have punched their tickets so far. Kind of weird. Farley Dickinson made it because the team they're playing is ineligible because they're switching to Division I, and they had the number 1 seed in their tournament, so they kind of get in by default. A couple buzzer beaters, but this week is when all the major conference tournaments starts. Next Sunday is Selection Sunday, so we're in the thick of things right now.
We appreciate good work without the Coke Zero.
Yep.
Good work. AJ, great show today. We appreciate you, buddy. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you all tomorrow. We do not have any contact. Well, we did have contact since the darkness.
Yeah.
But we have not had contact since then. So I think I saw a lot of people tweeting like, can't wait to hear what Aaron says on Tuesday and then adding me.
Yep.
It's like, whoa. I have not said that. As
Conjecture, pure conjecture.
we do not know if that's the case. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is just during the season. Let's not get crazy out here. We do not expect or know if that's going to be taking place, but the time is coming pretty soon to hear what he's up to, and that's the next domino to fall. What are you saying? TikTok over there?
Fucking deadline spur action.
We are also on TikTok. We have a full-time employee now dedicated strictly to our TikTok that I've never met in person.
He's a good guy.
He does a good job.
He's
gets
good.
it.
Company's growing. That's how we need to hire people.
Never seen.
Just remote?
Could be an AI.
Never seen. Might be a fake.
Yeah.
Might be somebody in this office hustling
Chatbot.
for another
paycheck.
Another paycheck. Could be.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet if that was the case.
That could be Bill. Bill's been on this whole new Bill.
Yeah.
Well, he's golfing too much, so he doesn't have time.
Yeah, right. Bill got in probably 3 workouts during that golf round yesterday.
Yeah.
Picking up new jobs every single day.
Going
I'll
to
do
movies
them.
every weekend.
I heard the other day he was spitting on the Hawk House. I didn't like that.
Yeah, he was full blown.
Not enough equipment.
Oh, I just joined.
Doing the machines.
I just joined this new gym. Okay, what's wrong with the Hawk House?
Dude, he's a dog.
Yeah.
All right, he's an
Yeah, absolutely.
dog. We appreciate Bill, and if Bill has created a fake person to catfish me to pick up another job and pick up another salary, good on you, Bill.
Well done.
Good on you, Bill. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend. Goodbye.